and clear. Welcome on board to our training today. So how far has our training been? Have you been impacted with our trainings from SharePoint to OneDrive? Has it been useful? Have you found it useful? Before I go on, I would like to hear from us. What do you think, or what do you make of our trainings? The last one was someone who handled the training, so I would like to know if you enjoyed his training, he did very well, you got the required knowledge that would really help you deliver at your various businesses and career paths. Please, I'd like us to mute our mics if we are not speaking. Please, let's ensure to mute our mics, okay? It's very important. All right. So, what do we think about our training so far? Anyone? Hello, can we all hear me? Let me be sure I'm not speaking to myself.
We can hear you loud and clear.
All right. I thought I was speaking to myself. Let me just confirm my mouthpiece. All right. So, how's the training been so far? Nola, let's go with you. I think you spoke first, so it means that you can hear me. How's it been so far? Oh, you've not attended the previous ones.
Yes, I did.
Oh, okay. So how's it been?
Well, it has been so educative, right? So because before now, so I didn't have any knowledge about OneDrive. So, but after the training, of course, the instructor cannot give us all the full details, but by self-learning and keep checking on improving yourselves. So I was able to get more information, by also engaging other instructors on like YouTube, and of course I have friends in tech experts, so I was able to engage them and get more information. But the information given on this platform really gave me the fundamental knowledge that I needed to start this what's it called, OneDrive. All right. So, and I was able to implement it in my organization where I'm working right now. So it has been so educative, and I will give you guys 100, even if it's 1,000 over 1,000. So thank you so much for this platform. So thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much, Nola. Thank you very, very much for the feedback. So do we have any other person? Sorry, don't give us praises. So me, I'm even looking out for what you think that we can do better to ensure that this particular knowledge is, I don't want it to be too overly technical so that you won't feel like I'm lost. I don't understand what they are saying. I'm new to this, and the technical jargons are too much and all that. So, we're trying to create a balance to everything. So do we have any other person that would like to just share with us what you think we can do better? Let's leave the impact of the training. What do you think we can do better regarding deliverables for the trainings?
Hello, can I talk, please?
Please feel free. Thank you.
For some of us that joined the training late, we've been asking for previous videos because I've actually tried to search online to see if I can get something handy, and somehow I've not really been able to get videos or archive that have a collection of everything, that I want. So I would suggest that for each of the classes, please, let's have videos that will be uploaded on YouTube, so that for those of us that might not have time while the classes are going on, or for the previous classes, we can have access to them. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. I think this is the major challenge we are having currently, because I've had people private chats me asking for videos. But nonetheless, be rest assured that we are really sorry for the delay. The videos should have been out even before this particular class. The idea was after every session, at most 2 days after every session, the video should be out, because we had to edit it, remove, because we are recording from the beginning to the end, we have to like remove some parts and then put the only ones that are, centered around the training, so it doesn't get so bulky. So we are still working on the videos, but be rest assured that it's going to be ready next week. I think there are 2 pending videos now for SharePoint and OneDrive. So be rest assured that they'll be ready next week. All of them will be ready next week, okay? Thank you very much, Foluke, for the feedback. So any other person? Like, I can take one more person before we start.
I'm confused, if I should say.
Kenechiko. Okay, I thought you were saying something. All right. Do we have one more person, or can we just zoom to start? Okay, I think we can start. All right. So before I start, I want to ask, do we all have access to an environment where we can reproduce some of these things that we are learning? Because it's very important. If we don't have access to an environment and we can't have access to an environment, it's as good as, just learning something, and at the same time, at the end of the day, you can't apply it. And when you don't apply what you learn, over time, it phases off, because your brain, your brain is already trying to learn so many other things. You're also looking for money, you're also thinking of family and all these things. So over time, it phases out because you don't have the environment, you don't see where to apply the knowledge. Maybe you're not working in an organization that requires this knowledge. So it's very, very important that we have an environment where we can apply this particular knowledge to. Very, very important. Okay. So right now we're going to be starting our training, and today's training will be centered around Microsoft. Sorry, Abdullah, do you want to say something?
Yes, I requested for access. No, I chatted you for it, but you said you
Yes.
hold down.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I've created it, but I don't know. I think it keeps keeping my mind to send it. So I'll send it to you after this particular after this class today. Okay, because I'll also be giving us assignments to do. So if you have test environment, it will even be better. Please, no one should use ChatGPT, Copilot, DeepSeek, all those AI platforms. Please don't use them. It is better you do them, and then you're strong. Don't even use Google. Don't ask Google for anything. It's better you just attempt it yourself. Keep trying it. Go around, play around the environment, and then see how you can get it. And if you don't get it, you can ask questions on the platform, or you can ask questions when next we are having another class. Okay, so that's the best way you learn. Because if you keep going to AI and all, when they give you the answer, you just relax. There is this relaxation that comes with it, and then you won't want to put in more effort. You understand? So it's better we use our mind and just try to navigate through and through. It's a very simple interface. Microsoft is a very simple interface. It's just more like plug and play. So when you click here, you don't see it here. You go next and click the next one. So definitely you must see something. If you don't see, you go to the search bar and search for what you're looking for. So you must definitely see where you're going to. So let's ensure that we don't use AI tools or Google or any search engine. So I'll be sharing that with you. So if you also need access to a test environment that you don't have, not that you have and you want another access. No, you don't have access to any test environment before, and you cannot get any access to it. Maybe you've tried to get a trial tenant and trial license for a tenant, and you're not unable to do. You can always chat me up privately, and I'll share the credentials of mine to you so that you can always try things on your own. Okay. All right. So today we are going to be looking at Microsoft Exchange Online. Yeah. Today is going to be all about Microsoft Exchange Online. When you hear Microsoft Exchange, or what comes to your mind, you're always thinking of what are we exchanging, what are we giving out, or what are we collecting. So as the name implies, it's very, very simple. It's just a means of sending and receiving messages. Okay. the means of sending and receiving messages. So that's exchange. You're giving out something and you're getting something back in return. Okay. But technically, Exchange Online is a cloud-based messaging platform. So it's an infrastructure that manages our messages, be it emails, be it calendars, organizing calendars, booking meetings and appointments, be it contacts, and be it tasks, whatever it is regarding emails, deliverables for emails, sending and receiving emails, emails being impacted somewhere, and all of that, creating, scheduling meetings, and all that, checking free busy of different organizations. All of these things are centered around Microsoft Exchange Online. And it being a cloud-based messaging platform, it falls under the software as a service scheme, whereby the applications are being delivered over the internet. All you just need to do is to subscribe to a license, and then you're able to access Microsoft Exchange. Okay. When you subscribe to a license, you are able to access Microsoft Exchange. So let me just quickly share my screen. So we're going to look at the interface together and properly understand what Microsoft Exchange is. All right, so I believe that we can all see my screen now. All right, so before you are able to access Microsoft Exchange, you definitely need what we call a license. All right, it's the license that gives you access to Microsoft Exchange. It's the license. Okay, now I know that some of us, we've heard of Exchange, we know Exchange, we know Microsoft Outlook, and sometimes we feel that they are the same, and Outlook and Exchange, what's the difference? Of course, they are both different. So Exchange and Outlook, how do I put this now? The architecture governing Exchange and Outlook is a client server based architecture, in that the Exchange is the server while the Outlook is the client. So there is a communication between the server and the client, whereby the server houses or hosts most of the applications, okay, that governs messaging, that governs what we see on Outlook. All right. And that's why you will not necessarily have access to the Exchange Online platform or the Exchange Online admin center if you're not an administrator, say an Exchange administrator or a global administrator. You will not necessarily have access to that particular part. The only thing you can have access to once there is a license is the Outlook. Outlook is for everybody. Okay. All right. So when you want to access Exchange Online, you must ensure that you have the license. What are the licenses that gives you access to Exchange Online? All licenses gives you access to Exchange Online. Okay, it's either you're having the Exchange Online Plan 1 or you're having the Exchange Online Plan 2. So these are the two licenses that gives you access to use the messaging platform for Microsoft. Okay, so all licenses incorporate either the Plan 1 or the Plan 2 Exchange Online license. All, from Microsoft Business Basic to Business Standard to Apps for Business to Business Premium to enterprise licenses, educational licenses. All licenses have the capability to host either the Exchange Online Plan 1 or the Exchange Online Plan 2, depending on your business needs. Okay, so once you have that license already assigned, let's say you got the holistic license of the Exchange Online Plan 1, of the Business Basic or Business Premium, not just the standalone license. Let's say you just get the holistic license that has every other component in it. All you just need to do is to come down here to a user that must have been created in your organization. Okay. When you come down here, you go straight to the licenses and apps. This is where the licenses are being assigned and managed. All right. So when you come down to licenses and apps, you just come down and then assign the particular license that you want that user to have. And now in this business, this E5 developer license that I have here, under it, you see apps. You expand these apps here. It gives you the different applications that are embedded within this license. All right, you see the avatars for Teams, you see every other thing. What we are looking for now is the Exchange Online. And so if you look here, you'll see the Exchange Online Plan 2. And this Plan 2 is because I'm using the E5 license. Okay, it gives me access to the Exchange Online Plan 2. What's the beauty of the Exchange Online Plan 2? The beauty of the Exchange Online Plan 2 is that it gives you 100 gigabyte mailbox storage, as well as a corresponding 100 gigabyte archive storage that can further be expanded to 1.5 terabytes max archive storage. Okay, so you can always expand the archive if that particular archive is filled up. So it's always advisable that in Office 365, when you have your email set up, it's always advisable to enable archiving, okay, so that your emails can be archived. This will help free up space. This will help free up space within your Outlook, okay, within your Exchange Online server to help free up space. Very, very important. But sometimes some organizations don't always want to enable archiving. So they go with the simple method of deleting irrelevant emails, let's say newsletters or promotional advertisements that might not be necessary. They prefer to go with that. But the downside of that is that you might end up losing important emails that might not be important now, but might be needed sometime in the future. And you might want to make reference to that. I believe that the technical guys on this particular platform, you've had tickets whereby customer raise a particular concern regarding inability to find certain emails. You know, they've actually tried searching for these emails within Outlook and they can't find it anymore. And sometimes when you go to the deleted items, you'll find it locking somewhere there, or you go to the recoverable items, you find it there. So it's possible sometimes some of these administrators would have mistakenly deleted the emails from their inboxes, all right? Or they might have even deleted it from their deleted items folder. Maybe to them, they felt like they don't need it anymore. And then later discovered that, oh, I actually need that email. And now I can't find it anywhere. So let me go to Microsoft 365 and then try to ask them if they can help me recover this email from the back end. So there is always a downside to deletions. It's always advisable, based on best practice, to always archive your emails. You can archive them for a certain period of time and then have them automatically deleted or purged from the system when you don't have need of them again. Let's say 7 years archiving. You can tell yourself, oh, in 7 years, I might not need or have a need for these emails anymore. If I've not checked around that email for the first year, second year, third year, fourth year, fifth year, sixth year, seventh year, then there is no, that means it's as good as me not wanting this email anymore. So in Microsoft 365, there are 2 types of archiving or hold that can be placed. Okay, let me just say there are 2 types of hold that can be placed on a mailbox. What is a hold? A hold is just basically placing a mailbox or placing something like a lock on a mailbox to prevent deletion of those particular information, or to prevent maybe accidental removal of those particular information. All right, so it's like a lock placed on a mailbox. So what happens is this: even when you try to delete a particular email accidentally, it will not be purged from the system. The email will still remain there. You will not be able to delete emails from your mailbox. And most times organizations like to set this particular thing in place so that they can try to monitor the activities done by their employees. And they might also want to use it for legal functions, say in the future. It might be important that they do this for legal stuffs in the future. So anything that goes on within your mailbox, organizations can always monitor this when you're there and when you've left the organization. So they put this particular hold on the mailbox to prevent deletion of information. All right, those information might be critical to the business functionality of that organization, depending on your role in that particular organization. So it's very important. So in Microsoft 365, we have two types of hold. We have the in-place hold and we have the litigation hold. So litigation hold most times comes with an Exchange Online Plan 2 license. So any license that gives you the capability or capacity to have the Exchange Online Plan 2 will definitely have give you the privilege to have or apply litigation hold on the mailbox. Okay, so in place hold, the difference between the two, there are two types of hold. The difference between the two is that in place hold gives you the capacity to select, to modify. So you can always select to hold a particular email or emails in a mailbox for a period of years. You can select the particular folders that you want to actually apply this hold to. So it is peculiar, it is unique, and you can always modify it. But litigation hold is an indefinite hold in that you cannot modify, you cannot stipulate the particular length of time that you want to have this particular hold expired on the mailbox. So when you initiate or when you activate the litigation hold, it is applied on that mailbox and it stays there indefinitely until an administrator comes to uncheck that particular option for enabling litigation hold, which is disable it. So if you don't disable it, it will remain active on that particular mailbox till the end of this, till whenever. All right. So these are all the licenses that comes with this. So this is not what we are centered around today. So let me just close it. So after this has been assigned, after the license, as we see on the screen here, has been assigned to this particular user, the user has been created and the user has been assigned a license. What happens next is that because we have the Exchange Online Plan 2 license on this particular mailbox, as shown here, this user will have an mailbox provision on his email. Okay, this user will have a mailbox automatically provisioned. And where do we find that, or where do we confirm that? We do that on the mail. So you see the mail option at the top. All right. So when you click on the mail, you would see the email or mailbox properties for this particular user. All right. So this is the mailbox properties for this particular user. All right. So I see a hand up. Olubi Ifeoluwa, do you have a question?
Yeah, hi. Good morning, everyone.
All
So, talking about this litigation hold, what happens if a particular user gets unlicensed, even when the litigation hold is in place? What happens? Would you,
Okay,
would you, would you,
okay.
sorry, go ahead, please, go ahead.
Oh, okay, no, go on. I was trying to understand the question, but continue.
Okay, so when you enable litigation hold on an account, yeah?
Yeah.
So what happens? Let's say now you unlicense the person doesn't have any license allocated, yeah, or provisioned anymore. Would the mailbox still exist, or every content will be deleted or removed or whatever it is?
Oh, all right. So what happens if you have a litigation hold on a mailbox and then you remove that particular litigation hold? What happens first of all is, the mailbox would be retained for about 30 days on Office 365, right? It will be retained. After that 30 days, it's supposed to be purged out from the system. It's supposed to go into sub-deleted states. All right. So if there is a hold on that mailbox, it means that the items on that mailbox will not be deleted. They will still be retained within Office 365, be it an in-place hold or a litigation hold. Whatever items you have, yes.
So even if the user gets unlicensed.
Yeah.
So
even if the user gets.
So how would we now retrieve that particular mailbox? Maybe when you want to retrieve information from it, how do you access it?
Oh, okay. You can always there are two ways to do this based on my knowledge. You can either try to restore that particular mailbox back so that you can retrieve the information on that particular mailbox. But if you don't want to go through the route of restoring the mailbox back, you can always there's another way you do it, but this is via PowerShell. You can always you can
also do compliance search.
Yes, that's another way too. Yes, compliance search. That's the PowerShell. I know it through PowerShell, but you can do compliance search via e-discovery search on the compliance admin center. So you can always use that one. Yes, I think that's even the better way to recover items on that particular mailbox. That's true.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. All right, thank you for the question. Please, if we have questions, please ask as we go along, okay? Don't wait till the end because you might end up forgetting the question when we talk of something different, okay? All right, so once you're done with this, you see the mail, properties of the mailbox already on this pane. So you can manage this mailbox from this particular admin center if need be. So these are the different things you can do on this particular admin center for this mailbox. You can always assign mailbox permissions. Mailbox permission is just to give people access to this mailbox. All right. So I can decide now that I want Abdullah to have an access to my mailbox. I want to give him permission. Let's say, for instance, Abdullah is also a member of my organization. I want to give Abdullah access to my mailbox to either read and manage my mailbox, to either send us my mailbox, or to send emails on behalf of my mailbox. So I can decide which of these three permissions that I want to assign to Abdullah. So the read and manage permission, as the name implies, is just basically to give Abdullah full access permission to my mailbox. So Abdullah will be able to handle different itineraries within my mailbox as though he is in charge of my mailbox, as though I am the one handling my mailbox. So I can just decide to add him here. When I add him here, I click on the add, and then he automatically can be able to manage my mailbox. He can be able to read emails that are sent to my mailbox. Okay, it's not necessary that I have to be available. Most time, people that use this particular option are people that have like maybe personal assistants or executive assistants, and then they want this person to stand in their place, as though they are there, even when they are not around or physically available to handle their mailboxes. These particular individuals can still sign into their mailboxes and then handle different things that are within their mailboxes, okay, as though it's them. So even if those people can read their emails, can see their emails, can send emails as them, you would think that, oh, this email is coming from Kingsley, actually, without knowing that, oh, Abdullah is actually the one sending this email as though it's Kingsley. All right, so the next one we have is the send as permission. The send as permission basically allows Abdullah to send emails from my mailbox. It will just appear as if I'm the one that sent it. Okay, this is completely different from send on behalf of. We'll get there when we get there, but the send as, it just basically saying that Abdullah is going to send, can has capability to send an email as though I'm the one sending the email. So it appears as I am the one sending the email, but Abdullah is sending as myself. Okay, Abdullah is sending that particular email just like I'm the one sending the email. So for send on behalf of, it means that Abdullah is sending this particular email on my behalf. But the difference is that Abdullah's name will be showing up in the from section of the email. Let me see if I can enter my Outlook here. We'll still come back here to explain this, but let me just try to see if I can just quickly sign into my Outlook. Oh, sorry, I don't know why this is taking so much time. Okay. All right, so this is a typical mailbox for my user. And for instance, there is an email that is meant to be sent. Now, for read and manage permission, I have full Abdullah has full access to my mailbox. So he's able to not only send emails as me, he's also able to read my emails, my mailbox. He's also to read the emails that I have in the mailbox and to receive emails on my mailbox, as well as manage the different itineraries on my mailbox. So he's able to do and undo within my mailbox. He's having the full access permission. For some applications or for some solutions, they call them owner permission and full access permission, like that. So it gives you full, complete access, unrestricted to my mailbox. Okay, it gives you full access, unrestricted to my mailbox. For send as permission, it means that Abdullah can send the email as though I'm the one sending the email. But when he's sending as though I'm the one, my name is still going to be showing in the from section. But Abdullah is sending this email for me. So my name will be the one, or my email address rather, will be the one showing up here. All right. Then when it's sent on behalf of, my name will no longer show up from the from section. What will show up here is Abdullah is sending on behalf of me. The email contents could be my email contents, the email I want. I compose that email and I want that email to go out. But who is sending this particular email? From section will show Abdullah as a delegate on my mailbox that has access to my mailbox to send this email on my behalf. Okay, so that's the difference between the three of them. So if you want to do that, you can always, there are different ways of doing that, but primarily from the 365 admin center, when you come to the mail option, you can always come down to the mailbox permissions and assign the different permissions that you want to assign to different individuals. Now, for technical support, I know sometimes some administrators or organizations usually have challenges with this. They'll tell you they have full access permission to a certain mailbox and they are not able to access the mailbox on Outlook on the web or see the mailbox properties on the Outlook clients and all of these and all of these. So sometimes what needs to be done is just to come down here and verify the particular access permission that that particular administrator has on that mailbox, and then try to understand the license that they have applied. Are they accessing this on Outlook on the web or on the client? And nothing that you can do is to unassign the license and reassign the license, correct any anomaly. And another one you can do is to gather F12 logs, to check the network interference or the network properties to see if at any point it's a network issue or a browser issue that is actually causing that impact. These are just like few things that you can check around mailbox permission. Then you can run a particular PowerShell just to see the particular permission, the mailbox permission that that particular user have. Sometimes this our GUI. Sometimes you might have applied a permission on the GUI, but it's not yet, the system has not yet recognized that a permission has been applied. It takes maybe longer time due to network issues, due to browser issues, due to even the application issues. Some back-end issues might be going on within the application that this particular setting has not been implemented, just yet. So sometimes you can always use our PowerShell to carry out all of these things. So PowerShell is just basically action scripts or actionable scripts, to implement anything you can do within the GUI interface. That's PowerShell. And PowerShell, you can always run the shell from the start menu. You just type in PowerShell. So when you see the PowerShell, you can always open it up. All right. So there are different it's telling me I should install PowerShell. Okay, there are different commands that you will need to run that will help you connect to the particular resources or resource that you want to connect to, be it Exchange Online, be it SharePoint Online, be it Teams, be it OneDrive, be it security and compliance. Whatever resource you want to connect to within Microsoft 365, you can always do that on PowerShell. There are different scripts that you can use to connect, that you can use to modify, that you can use to create, that you can use to add, from creating a user, assigning licenses to user, down to migration of users. So you can always use PowerShell to achieve all of these things. So if, for instance, I want to connect to this particular Exchange Online, all I need to do is just to run the commandlet here, and it connects me directly to my Exchange tenant. So if I want to modify anything within this Exchange setup, I can always run the PowerShell script. The script will help me to be able to access that particular setup and then try to modify it by maybe adding something or deleting something or beautifying something. All right, so that's what PowerShell helps me to achieve. So down here, we see email apps, email applications. So we have different email applications that are here. We have the Outlook on the web. So why we selected all of this is to ensure that it is applicable to this particular user's account or user's mailbox. All right. So that's why all of these things are selected, just to ensure that it is applicable to this particular user's mailbox. Very, very important. If you don't select, for instance, if you don't select the Outlook on the web, then this user will not have access to the Outlook on the web. If you don't select the MAPI, this user will not have access to MAPI. Just like that for every one of them on this particular option here. So the Outlook on the web is just basically Outlook that we went to, the mail we went to on the web. It used to be called Outlook Web App, but now it's Outlook on the web. So this is Outlook on the web. So if that is unchecked, the moment you want to try to access it, you'll see that you will be having an error. You won't be able to access it. So let's go back. All right. So Outlook Desktop, MAPI is just the messaging application that governs Outlook Desktop. Okay. It just allows us to access our message on Outlook Desktop. Okay. That's what MAPI is, or Outlook Desktop. So since Outlook Desktop is selected, it means that it gives us the opportunity to open up our desktop application, for instance, and then we are seeing emails that exist within our Outlook Desktop. All right, that's just what it means. Sorry, this one is a different, it's a different desktop application. All right. So it's the same thing with every other, even mobile devices. You know of ActiveSync, synchronizing all the messages and information from your desktop devices down to your mobile devices. You know, in this age now, there is an influx of engineers for mobile device management. In fact, mobile device management is now like a key skill that everyone should embrace. Mobile device management, because in this time now, people access resources on the go. You don't expect me to carry my laptop everywhere I'm going to. And then when I get to some places, I need to open my laptop before I can do anything, before I can send or receive emails, or before I can access, create calendar meetings and all that. No, I can do that on my device, on my mobile device. Okay. And so there are some measures that are put in place to ensure that the functionality you have on your desktop devices, you can as well have similar functionalities on your mobile devices. Okay, to be as if you're not even lacking anything when it comes to access to your environment. All right, so that's where the mobile devices comes into play, as well as IMAP, MAPI, authenticated SMTP, and all that. Okay. All right. So the next one is on the left. We still see global address list. All right. We see show in global address list. So if this was unchecked, then it means that you won't be able to see this mailbox in the global address list. Okay. So basically, global address list in Office 365 is just like a directory. It's like a directory that houses lists of mailboxes. Okay, not just mailboxes, but it houses list of mailboxes as well as contacts and every other mailbox information that you have within your organization. Okay, so it just houses them. It's just like like those of us that have background in local servers and AD environment. It's just like your local AD environment. So this is a cloud-based AD environment. That's just see it as a cloud-based AD environment. That's what the global address list is about. Cloud-based AD environment. So it's like an organization unit. It has an organization unit where you can have different mailboxes from different departments, different hierarchy, different calendars, whatever it is that you're searching for within your tenant, you can see all of them in the global address list. But if this option is unchecked, then it means that you won't be able to see that particular mailbox in the global address list. However, the mailbox can still be existing within your tenant, within your organization, but the mailbox will not be found in the global address list. Okay, so if you uncheck this, it means that you want to hide or prevent that particular user from showing up in the global address list. Okay, so the next one we have here is our email forwarding. You can see I have none for this particular account. But if I want emails to be forwarded, email forwarding is just forwarding emails from this mailbox to, let's say, a third-party mailbox outside my organization. All right. So if, for instance, I want to enable this, I just need to come to manage email mailbox and then forward all emails to a particular mailbox. Select the particular mailbox I want to forward email. So it means that if Abdullah sends me an email to my mailbox, I automatically will get a copy on my third-party email provider. All right. Most times, organizations usually disable this for everybody. They don't want anybody to be able to forward sensitive information outside the organization. All right. So for this particular we're going to be learning on sensitivity labels and DLP policies and all that, but that's later. We are thinking of incorporating Microsoft security together with Azure once we are done with Microsoft 365 training. So we can always give us in-depth knowledge of all of these information, sensitive labels, why the organizations prevent people from forwarding emails to external email recipients. It's things like this so that company's secret or sensitive data will not get leaked from the organization. Okay, that's like one of the reasons. And then we can see here automatic reply. Mine is turned off, but you can always turn on automatic reply from this place. Automatic reply is just like a system-based email reply that helps you to send out of office emails. Say, for instance, you're not going to be available in the office today from 12 noon. You can always come here to configure an out of office reply on your mailbox. Okay. Send this reply to senders inside the organization. You can always turn it on. Type in the reply here. Or if you want to send the reply to those outside the organization, you can select the two, or you can select only one as applicable. All right, so you can decide to send the replies only to the senders in your mailbox contact list, or send automatic replies to all external senders. So it means that if kazuike@yahoo.com sends an email to this particular guy, Hobby Technologies, I will be getting an automatic reply because of this particular configuration that's set up. All right, so that's what automatic reply is all about. So let me see if there are still more on that pane before we move on. Okay, under mail. So down here we have more actions. So this more actions covers converting this mailbox to shared mailbox. So we'll still get to shared mailbox when we go to the Exchange Admin Center. Okay, but just to give us a heads up, you can always convert this part. In fact, okay, there are two types of mailboxes in Microsoft 365 Exchange Online. All right, we have the user mailbox and we have the shared mailbox. The user mailboxes are these particular mailboxes that we have created here, whereby we created them and assigned a license to them so that they can have access to most or all of the resources within the Microsoft 365 interface. But for the shared mailbox, there are mailboxes that are used basically for team collaboration, and then they don't necessarily require a license for them to be functional. You can decide to assign a license to them, quite all right, but they don't require licenses. The only reason why people assign licenses most times to shared mailboxes is if they want to be able to authenticate with that credentials. If you don't want authentication within that credential setup, all you need to do is you can always create a shared mailbox or convert an existing user mailbox into a shared mailbox. Okay. So when you convert it, it changes it to a shared mailbox, and you don't need to have a license assigned to it. Then you can always add people, users as delegate, give them delegate access to the shared mailbox so that they can always see information within the shared mailbox, as well as read and manage whatever it is in the shared mailbox. You can always edit the exchange properties of this particular mailbox, as well as manage litigation hold. So litigation hold we talked about before. You can always come down to this pane to turn it on. Okay, on the mailbox. It's either you can do it via this pane, okay, you can do it via PowerShell. So whichever way, but today we're going to be looking at GUI, strictly GUI. So you can turn on litigation hold on this mailbox, and it keeps items on this particular mailbox retained within Office 365 indefinitely. okay, indefinitely. So, sorry. So let's just go straight out to Microsoft Exchange Admin Center. So we've talked about the Microsoft 365 Admin Center and what we can do within Exchange on Microsoft 365 Admin Center. Before we go there, I want us to know this, that Exchange Online integrates seamlessly with Microsoft 365 Admin Center, Microsoft Intune Mobile Device Management, Microsoft Defender Portal, as well as Microsoft Purview. Okay, so there is a seamless integration of Exchange Admin Center with all of these other admin centers. It means that you can manage some Exchange properties or Exchange setup within these other admin centers. For the Defender and the Purview, you can always manage alerts. If an email comes in to your mailbox, there should be an alert. If someone is sending out some certain kind of information, there should be an alert as an administrator. Now, we are learning this as an administrator, not as a user, okay? So just see yourself as an administrator of a particular organization, managing their Exchange mailbox resources, all right? So if also you want to be able to add more users to give them licenses, you do it on the Microsoft 365 Admin Center. Convert to shared mailbox, you can do it on Microsoft 365 Admin Center. So whatever you want to do, you can do most of them on Microsoft 365 Admin Center. You want to create policies, you want to create rules, policies that governs anti-spam, anti-phishing, malware, safe attachments, safe links, and you can do it on the Microsoft Defender portal. All right, that's security portal. So all of these are interconnected to ensure that you get the best value. Okay, you get a robust service within Microsoft 365 framework. All right, so we're going to go straight now to the Microsoft Exchange Admin Center. So on this left pane, you see the different resources we have on the admin center. Down here, you see the different admin centers we have. The security admin center, the purview admin center. So this is the compliance admin center. So those of us who are already into security, Microsoft security or cyber security, information security and all, you know that this compliance is just basically ensuring that this particular tenant is compliant with industry standards, right? So we don't want to go there yet because we're not handling security today. So this is Microsoft Intune. We have identity, yes, Exchange. Sorry, I didn't even add this one. So identity is our Azure, okay, Azure Identity. So this Exchange is also integrated with identity, so our identity portal too. And then we have our Exchange Admin Center. So that's what we're going to look into today. Still loading. All right, please give me a moment. I have someone that is struggling to join in. I don't know if she has finally joined in. All right, so here we are in the Exchange Online Admin Center. Now, before I go in, I want us to know this. Put this at the back of your mind, that Microsoft solutions, Microsoft products are very, very seamless. They are very, very direct. They are very, very easy to use. It is just a plug and play mechanism that governs Microsoft 365 solution. Okay, Microsoft 365 as a whole is a plug and play mechanism. Client server relationship. That's a relationship that exists between this particular Microsoft 365. Be it SharePoint, Exchange, OneDrive, anything you can think about is a client server relationship. Okay. The server hosts all of these applications, and the clients are we the end users that access this with our endpoints, with our devices. Okay, so you can see all of the different components within Microsoft Exchange on the left pane here. All right, so you can use here to navigate to anywhere, wherever it is that you want to navigate to. You can do that on the left pane on the admin center of Microsoft Exchange. So you can see the home page. The home page just gives you an overview of everything within this left pane. Although not everything, but you can decide to add more of what we have here. It gives you like shortcuts to some of these. So you can see we have mail flow here. We have training and guide. We have mailboxes. We have mail flow, giving you the option for different inbound and outbound messages. Sorry, I don't really use this tenant except for to see what is new on Microsoft 365. So I don't really send emails with it. I don't receive emails. It's just there. All right. So we see the different mailbox functionalities here. Edit a mailbox, mailbox email forward. So it can give you a swift shortcut to any resources at all within Microsoft 365 that you want to have access to. Okay, this gives you a shortcut. You can also decide to edit this how you want it, light mode, dark mode, add a card. If you want to add, there are 6 more available cards that I can add here. So you see the list of all of them here. You can decide to also click on these 3 ellipses to remove anyone that you don't want to remove. So you can design it based on your need. Anyhow you want it to look, you can always design it based on that. Okay, so on the left pane here, the first option we have here is the recipient. Under the recipient, we have mailboxes, we have groups, we have resources, as well as contacts. All right, so these are the 4 recipients that we have within Microsoft Exchange Admin Center. Under mailboxes, you can see that how we were able to get here is that we had licenses assigned to all of these guys here. So the licenses we have assigned to these guys provisioned a mailbox for each and every one of them. All right. Sorry, guys, just give me 1 minute. All right, so that particular license assigned to those users in the 365 admin center gave them the privilege to have these mailboxes, for them to have mailboxes in Exchange. We cannot add a user on Exchange Admin Center. We can only add a user in the Microsoft 365 Admin Center. We can only add a shared mailbox, and because shared mailbox does not necessarily require a license to function. So the only thing that we can add here in the mailboxes is a shared mailbox. So you can create a shared mailbox from scratch on Microsoft 365 Admin Center, okay? But you cannot create a user mailbox on Microsoft 365 Admin Center. That's just the difference between the 2. Sorry, friends, I'm trying to see if that lady has joined the training already. All right, so let's just see. Okay, let me just see if I can create one. Oh yeah. We'll now select our domain. So this is just all about shared mailboxes. All right. So we've created the shared mailboxes. So the next step, you can see this giving us next step. So we can always decide to add users to this particular mailbox that we created. All right. And then we can always, let's just come here. Where is our shared mailbox? This is our shared mailbox. You can see the different recipient information here. User mailboxes as well as shared mailbox. So it tells you which is shared, which is user mailbox. So we can come here and give delegate access to different users on this particular mailbox. Just select whoever you want to have access to this shared mailbox and it will be listed here. All right, so I think that's for our shared mailbox. And yeah, so you can see different options for the shared mailbox, also message size restriction. These are default size restrictions for the messages. These are email forwarding, no forwarding option set currently. You can always set email forwarding even on your shared mailbox. So some functionalities that you can do within your primary or your user mailbox, you can also do that particular functionality within your shared mailbox also. Message delivery restrictions, you can always set this. This is already in default, but you can always manage delivery restrictions. If you want to, you can accept message only from selected senders. The rest will get an NTR informing them that they cannot send message to these particular resources. You can also block messages from selected senders or from nobody. So this one is free, easy to use, free to go. All right, so that's that for our shared mailbox. Then for user mailboxes that we have here, let's just select one user mailbox. And then you will see that we have different properties also, similar to what we have for our shared mailbox on the user mailbox also. Okay, so the different options we have here, we have the general option where we have the general categories for our shared mailbox. You have the first name, last name, all of these general informations, for our shared mailbox. The user identity, mobile phone number was not added. So we can always manage this contact information also from here if you want to change some things, except for the alias and the user ID, which can only be changed or configured in the Office 365 Admin Center. But the rest of them, you can always modify them on the Exchange Admin Center. All right. So you can see the hide from global address list is showing no here. All right. So it means that this is not hidden from the global address list. If you go to the global address list, you'll be able to see Hobby Technologies on the global address list. All right. So here we have the mailbox usage. You can see it's having 99 gigabytes. This is like 100 gigabytes, but some other hidden folders and all will take up some space also within the mailbox also. So so far the usage is just 1.48 MB out of 99 gigabytes. The storage is quite much. It's still very, very much. And then on the right here we have our email apps and mobile devices. You can always manage these particular resources here, manage email app settings like we did in Office 365 Admin Center, just to enable most of these functionalities, all right, and ensure that the Outlook desktop, you have access to it, Exchange Web Services, you have access to it, mobile device management, you have access to it, or rather the Active Sync, you have access to it, as well as IMAP and POP with Outlook on the web. All right, so that's that for the overview. All right, so our organization, if you come down to organization, you just see the difference. You can just add this particular one, it's just more like the title, department, company, more information manager. You can just add this just to give it more insight into what you do in this particular organization. I think this can also be managed from Office 365. And the next one is delegation. So if you can also add delegates to a user mailbox, right? Delegations are not only for mailboxes. You can always add delegations also to user mailboxes. So if I want someone to have access to Orbit technologies, right, I can give them either the send on behalf of permission or the read and manage, which is a full access permission to my mailbox. I might not be around for a while, and I might say, okay, Abdullah, I will give you full access permission to my mailbox so that you'll be the one to be able to open my mailbox, access the mailbox, send and receive emails on my mailbox, create meeting invites, carry on with the training, even in my absence. So nobody will even know that I'm not around. Why? Because there is someone who has full access permission on my mailbox to read and manage everything within my mailbox setup. The same thing with mailbox. Under the mailbox, you see the different mailbox settings. All right. We have the message size restriction, which is already set by default. I know some of these things are grayed out. So pardon me, sorry. I don't think I have some of these roles assigned, okay, to make me manage these particular things. I'll check my test environment later and then address some of these things. But we have this is not supposed to be graded out. This manage message size. I should be able to manage this myself. All right. Except my other admin has gone there to Kabiru has gone there to do something at my back. I don't know, but I'll check it later. All right. So this particular message size restriction, you can always, this is a default setting, 35, about 35 MB, 36 MB. So you can just see these are the values that are set by default, 35, 36 MB for sending emails and then receiving emails. Okay, that's like the default size that these can take, but you can decide to reduce it to like 15 MB. I know some organizations like to reduce theirs to 15 MB, especially they feel that this particular person does not get to receive emails every now and then, or this person is not is not someone that will send huge, maybe attachments, emails or something within an email. So they can decide to reduce it to 15 MB for you. It means that when your email size gets to 15 MB or crossing 15 MB, you will not be able to send that email. You have to reduce the size of that email to fall within this message size. So every email that you're going to be sending must be within 35 MB. And what you're receiving must be within 36 MB. If it goes above 36 MB, that email will not be able to, it will not get delivered to your mailbox. You will not be able to receive it. And if this email, the size of the email gets above 35 MB, you will not be able to send it. Why? Because there is a setting here that has been set to restrict emails that are above this particular mark. I think I saw a hand up earlier. Sorry, I just wanted to finish saying what I was saying. I saw a hand up earlier. Please ask your question.
I'm sorry. Wanted to ask about this particular one you're talking about. So, are you saying that is there any way we can configure it to expand it to more than 38? As you said.
Oh, you can always you can.
Are they default this thing?
Okay. Yes. This is a default setting. All right. Okay. This particular size restriction that we have here now, this is default. This is what came with Microsoft 365. But as an admin, you can always click on this manage message size restriction and then go here to, yes, to either increase expand or decrease. Yes, expand or reduce it. Yes. But I was just saying earlier that mine is grayed out. I would have to check my permissions, my roles to see if I don't know, maybe I don't have the particular permission to do this, but I'll have to check it and assign that to myself. Because normally I'm supposed to be able to do this one. You can see all other ones here are not graded out, yes. So you can always modify this based on your organization need. You know, all of these settings are organization-based. They are not user-based. So if you're an admin in an organization, you can decide that, okay, this is what our organization, this is what we do. We don't get to send out so many emails. We don't get to send out, maybe we only send out just, I'll call you back later, all those kind of short emails. Then you can decide to just restrict the size of the emails to like 10 megabytes or 5 megabytes. In that, the only thing you can send is just letters. Don't even put attachments, you know. But if your organization is like an enterprise organization whereby there have to be series of attachments, folders that would be attached to email bodies, then lengthy emails and all that, then you can decide to increase the size of the message. So just depending on your organization need or depending on the role of the user within the organization. So all of these are what you put into consideration. Okay. The email forwarding, we've talked about email forwarding before. Here we don't have forwarding, but we can decide to enable forwarding. But like I informed us earlier, most organizations don't like enabling forwarding. They disable this organization-wide. This one I'm showing us here is just mail per mailbox. Okay, just checking it per mailbox. But on the Microsoft Purview Admin Center, you can always disable email forwarding for the entire organization. That means nobody will have the privilege to be able to send out forward emails. Rather, you can send out emails, but you cannot forward emails to external recipients. Okay, sometimes they do it because of security, so that you don't breach their security workflow or send out critical information or data to external parties. And then we have message delivery restrictions. Okay, I think I can check this one out. Oh, okay, I think we've seen this one now. Okay, we saw this one. Yeah, we saw this one on the shared mailbox. So it's just basically accepting message from. So you can. This is a rule on its own. All right. We are still going to go to rules on the left pane here. You see rules here, but this one now is a rule on its own, whereby we can always block some senders, allow some senders. You know, you don't want messages to come from some certain senders. You can always block them from here. You don't need to do that through Outlook. You don't need to do that under the rules. You can always do it from this delivery restriction. You don't want to receive emails from a particular sender. You can even do it for all senders, in that nobody can send emails to this particular mailbox. Most times, why people do this particular option is because that mailbox might be primarily for informational purpose alone. In that, I want to send out newsletters to everybody in the organization, even those outside my organization. I want to use this mailbox just to be sending out promotional ads and newsletters. It means that I don't want anybody to be able to reply back to that particular email. You know, most promotional emails will tell you they do not reply, and sometimes when you try to reply, it will tell you that it cannot find the mailbox. So you can always block that particular option on this particular all senders here. So nobody can send an email to you, or you can select who can send, who cannot send. And you can also do require senders to be authenticated. You know, you can either block messages from nobody or select who you want to block messages from. So you can always carry out these settings based on your organization need, right? Then we have others here. Others here, we see custom attributes. You can, okay, still loading. Okay. Yeah, we see custom attributes here. So these are basically like extension attributes, right? That we can use to add information about the recipient. So we can add different descriptions about this particular recipient on the custom attributes. Okay. And here it's giving us a default 15 attributes to add for a particular user. Here you can also see group membership for this particular user, the different groups that this user is a member of to show up on the membership group. Then automatic replies. You can also configure automatic replies. You know, we talked about automatic replies on Microsoft 365 Admin Center. And here we also have it is turned off, where I can turn it on and decide to configure automatic replies. It has the same setup and configuration as the one we saw in the Microsoft 365 Admin Center. All right. Then we have recover deleted items. Now, you know, sometimes, like we spoke about the hold we have that we can place on mailboxes. You know, there are also times whereby you delete items, you know, you send items to your deleted items, and you want to be able to recover these particular items that are sent to your deleted items. You can always click on this particular pane. You can see it opened the recover deleted items option here. And then if we have particular resources that have been deleted from this particular mailbox within a set period of time, we can always recover them here. Okay. So if it's within 30 days, the idea is within 30 days, but if you have more, you can always customize the date flow, to just take it back to how long ago this particular email was deleted, and then you set it, and then you run. You can give it, if you have a subject line, you can give it. If not, if there are multiple emails, you can leave the subject line. Then if it's today's date, you can add today's date. So whatever you want, let me close this so we can see the other option. Then item type, if it's email, if it's appointment, or if it's all. And then you can decide to enter other options here. And then it will show, but I don't have anything here deleted, so nothing is showing up. But normally you are supposed to see like some emails. Then when we see the emails here, all we need to do is to click and restore. Click them, select them, and restore them. And then you can always see them show up again in your mailbox. All right, so that's what the deleted items, recover deleted items helps us to achieve. Then of course we've seen converting to shared mailbox. We want to convert this user mailbox to a shared mailbox. And we can also add litigation hold not only in Microsoft 365 Admin Center, but also in the Exchange Admin Center. So let me tell us the beautiful thing about Microsoft 365 solutions that gives an edge. Now, this is not in comparison with other solutions, but this is just the uniqueness of Microsoft 365. The different admin center, you can do one thing, the same thing on 3 to 4 different admin centers and achieve the same result within Microsoft 365. Say, for instance, litigation hold, for instance, you want to be able to enable litigation hold for this user's mailbox. You can always try this in Microsoft 365 Admin Center. You can do the same thing in the Exchange Admin Center. And you can also do the same thing with PowerShell. So this is how Microsoft integrated all of these admin centers together, in that sometimes there could be a service downtime or service issue with one particular admin center. And on that admin center, you might not be able to carry out the different functionalities that exist within that admin center. So what do? All hope is not lost. All you need to do is to go to other admin centers and then carry out that same action that you want to carry out on a different admin center, and you will get the exact same result. You don't need to wait for Exchange Online Admin Center to be active. If there is a service downtime on this admin center, it means that there are some things I cannot do on this admin center. It's give me an error, right? I should be able to go to Microsoft 365 Admin Center and carry out that particular action. If Microsoft 365 Admin Center is not helping me to achieve it, I should be able to use PowerShell to carry out the same action, and then at least one of them should help me achieve it. One of them should help me achieve it. Okay, so that's that about the litigation hold. We have the mailbox archive. Normally, we always advise that you enable archive for mailboxes. Here, I have it disabled, but we always advise that mailbox archives be enabled. So all I need to do, I don't want to enable this, but all I need to do is to click on enable to enable this one. Let me see if I have anyone. I think I have one enabled here. Let me use this. All right, so I have this one enabled. So all you need to do is just to click on enabled, and then you will have your mailbox archive storage enabled. In that, if your mailbox, your primary mailbox is sorry, if your primary mailbox is filled up, or before your primary mailbox even gets filled up, emails routinely will be moving to your archive based on the archive configuration that you have set up within this particular mailbox. Okay, based on the archive configuration that you have set up within this particular mailbox. Here I have an in-place archive set up for this particular mailbox, and then there are some conditions within the in-place archive which will check that later. Some conditions within the in-place archive that will tell me what is applied to this particular mailbox. Am I deleting items after some time? Am I storing items for a period of time? What actions am I placing this mailbox archive on over a period of time? So that will tell me the different actions that I have placed on this particular archive storage for this particular user. Of course, we know what archiving means: securing or like a secondary storage of mailboxes, right? Or emails within a mailbox. That's what archiving is. Then we have our recipient limit and mail tip. So by default, we have a maximum recipient here allowed to 500. And that recipient is the number of people that we can add to our two CC and BCC lines within our Outlook, right? So okay, I think I've closed. I think I've closed the Outlook. Or is it this stuff that is preventing me from seeing it? All right. Yeah. Okay. Let me just try to open it again here, so it can come handy. All right. So if I'm going to send an email, a new mail. So this field now, I can decide to add different people here, you know, add different people here, then still come down here and still add different people on this particular pane and different people on this particular pane, right? And then, so the total number of people that I can add to all of these, if there are still more, I can decide to use the BCC and still add much more, right? So the total number of recipients that I can add to the two CC and BCC here is maximum 500 based on this default setting that I have in place here. Based on this particular default setting that I have in place, I can decide to reduce this to 150. It means I can't go more than 150, right? And I can decide to increase this to 1,000. It means that I can go more than 500. Okay, so that's what the recipient limit is. Then we have mail tip. So mail tip is just to give you just more like an informational tip that comes on when people send emails to this particular contact. You're going to get like the mail information. Okay, so you can decide to add a tip. Sorry, is anyone saying something? Luau, someone is singing. Are you sure you're here with us? Bruno Miracle, you are singing. Are you here with us? Please, let's concentrate. If you have questions, let's be asking. Let's not be singing. I know you have a good voice, but please, we need questionable voice for this training, not singing voice. All right, so let's just go back to where we were. Okay, this one. All right, so this is the exchange, yeah. So I think that's about the mailboxes that we have in Exchange Admin Center. Okay, so let's go down to groups. This is very, very interesting and intriguing. The different groups that we have in Microsoft 365. Now, what are groups? I'm not used to giving paper or textbook like definitions of components like this. I just like to associate it with what we can find handy. As the name implies, groups are just grouping set of individuals or grouping mailboxes into one particular component. That's all. Let's not. Yes, we have 4 types of groups here, which we are going to be looking into. Microsoft 365 distribution group, dynamic distribution group, as well as mail-enabled security groups, right? But groups now, the hierarchy, as the name implies, is just gathering different users or objects into one particular group, you know, for the sake of collaboration. All of these groups, leave the names, oh, don't be deceived by their names. All of these groups are majorly, in fact, the primary reason for grouping individuals into one resource is for collaboration. That is all. That is all. That's the concept around grouping. Then we can now decide to now start limiting them. Okay, let's come down to each and every one of them and see what makes one particular group peculiar to another, or what makes one particular group different from the others, okay? Which is what we're going to be seeing in these groupings. First of all, I would like us to start with our Microsoft 365 group, where we currently are. So basically, our Microsoft 365 group, I've already told us already that groups are primarily for collaboration between team members or between individuals that are put together, okay? So Microsoft 365 groups gives us options or features like shared mailboxes, calendars, document libraries, and much more. Okay, so we can see shared mailboxes. In fact, just know this, that Microsoft 365 has a mailbox. There is an assigned mailbox for Microsoft 365. That is one of the things that makes it different from our distribution lists. In as much as they are both for collaboration purpose, this has a mailbox and this does not. All right. So another beautiful thing about Microsoft 365 is that Microsoft 365 is a Teams group. So if you go to Microsoft Teams, for instance, and you are trying to open up a Teams group, that group that you are opening in Teams as a Teams group is a Microsoft 365 group. So you can see that Microsoft 365 is not limited to Exchange Online alone, but rather it also integrates, or it's incorporated in SharePoint, OneDrive, and Microsoft Teams. You can access it in SharePoint, which is the storage for Teams, OneDrive, which is personal storages, as well as Microsoft Teams. Okay, so they are all collaborative. All right, Microsoft 365 is collaborative between teams. So what you need to do is, if there is a need, now creating a group in Microsoft 365, there are recommendations. Some organizations prefer to do distribution lists, others prefer the other types of distribution lists, right? But it is recommended within Microsoft that you create a Microsoft 365 group. Now, someone will ask me why. The reason why it is recommended to create a Microsoft 365 group is because if, for instance, something goes wrong with this particular group, it was deleted or something happened, and you want to recover the emails that were present in that group or the communication that was present in that group, you can easily recover them. But you cannot do the same for a distribution list. Distribution list, once it is deleted, it is deleted. Once it is gone, it is gone. There is nothing to recover. And that's why most times issues that arise within distribution lists, what I usually do is I tell the customers that they should just create a new distribution group and re-add the users to it. I personally don't like troubleshooting distribution group because I believe that there is usually almost nothing to troubleshoot on distribution group, except that group was created on the local AD. You know, most organizations run hybrid environments whereby they have resources on their server, local server environment, and then it communicates with Office 365, right? That's the hybrid setup. So most times they create most of these groups on the local AD and then hybridize them to Office 365. So there is that communication, that seamless communication between the local AD and Microsoft 365. So the local AD syncs to Microsoft 365. So except in that peculiar circumstance, but if it's an issue whereby the distribution group was created originally on the cloud, just delete that group. If the group is having error, if the group is having issues, what I do first of all is I create a new test group and then see the functionality of that group. If it's functioning well, then I create a new group, give it the same identity as the group that is having issues, delete that other one, then migrate those users from this particular old group to the new group, and then, continue going. Why? Because it doesn't have a mailbox, so you're losing nothing. It doesn't have a mailbox, so you're losing nothing. So what I usually advise organizations is, if you want to retain communication, you want to retain most of these information and enhance better collaboration between your teams, it is advisable to use the Microsoft 365 group. The information that you see on the group, it shows up in Microsoft Teams. It shows up in your mailbox. So why don't you utilize it? Why not use it than using the distribution group? There can be communication. I can send an email to a Microsoft 365 group, and the Microsoft 365 group can reply that email to me, but you cannot have the same mechanism in a distribution list. Distribution list is only that you can send an email to that distribution list for everybody to see it, except in peculiar cases that distribution list can send an email directly to you, except in peculiar cases, maybe settings or configuration. But usually, if I'm a member of this distribution list, all I need to do, or for instance, let me use a different scenario. If I'm a member of this distribution list and all of us on these training platforms are members of this distribution list, if someone sends an email to that distribution list, I will receive that email. Everybody here will receive that email. All right. We'll all see the emails, but that's the most that we can do. It's just limited to Outlook, Microsoft 365. I'm sorry, Outlook alone. Okay. On Teams, I won't be able to access that information. I will be limited in what I can do with distribution list. All right. So it's just basically for notification, not for communication. Distribution list is just for notification, not for communication. In that, I'm only notifying you, sending you an email, to be aware of something. But I'm not expecting you to reply to me. I'm not expecting you to just know that this is the new changes that has occurred in Hobby Technologies. That is all I want you to know. All right. But for Microsoft 365 group, is mainly for communication and collaboration. You can send and receive emails seamlessly. You also have access to, I will check my Outlook if I have a Microsoft 365 group on my Outlook. So you can see where we have shared mailboxes, shared calendars on Microsoft 365 group on Outlook. Okay, you can see that it has enhanced functionalities compared to our distribution group. Okay, so that's the difference between the two. I've used style to, okay, let me start with distribution group first, then we go to Microsoft 365, since Microsoft 365 is our centerpiece. Distribution, so you can come here to add a group, come here to create one, whatever the group is. You see, while creating this one, it tells you the recommended one is a 365 group, but nonetheless, this is what we want to create. It is giving you an option. Why not create a 365 group instead? Microsoft 365 groups have more collaboration tools like shared calendars, files, and notes, right? So it's giving you the best option to create. So you go to next, you give your group a name and all. So I don't want to create a group now. So what I will simply do is to look at our existing group setup that we have here. So let's see group Chica, for instance. Okay, it doesn't exist in Exchange. I will create this one. Sorry, I have two administrators on my tenants. So I think maybe he's doing something too. Okay, so Microsoft 365 group. So This one is still leading us to Microsoft 365 group. Relax now. We are training on this particular one today. So you can see the different options we have in our distribution group: general, members, as well as settings, right? So under the general pane, why is settings showing error? Oh, it might be a browser issue. Okay. So under here, we have basic information that we can edit. We can edit the name of this group. We can edit the email address, primary email, and the alias. And role assignment is not allowed for this particular group. So we can list members that we want to appear on this group. These are group owners. These are the group members. Settings is supposed to show something. Let me see a different group. I don't know why. Okay, I think there's something wrong with. Okay. Sorry, guys. Just give me 1 minute. All right, let me try to see that here. Let's see if there's an error from. Aha. So that error is from Exchange Admin Center. So you see what I told us earlier. In case there's an issue with one admin center, it doesn't limit you from carrying out the same action on a different admin center, right? So you can come to settings here. So you have the general settings as well as the advanced settings. So you can allow external senders to email this group. So even if the sender is not within this environment, you can still allow the sender to send an email directly to this group. You can also go to advanced settings where you can manage more settings. Oh, this one is in the Exchange Admin Center. Okay. So basically that's that for our distribution list. Okay, you can see on the admin center here, it's seen as Teams and Microsoft 365 group. But we're not in for Teams today. Sorry, I just need to. Let me just open a new one. This stuff at the top is stopping my. All right, so here we are. All right, that's that for distribution group. All right, so this sync status is showing us that all these groups were created on the cloud. If we have anyone created on the local AD and synchronized to Office 365, you'll see a different status here. You'll see like something that looks like a mobile device and all, the shape. You'll see it show up here. But this is cloud, showing that this was created on the cloud. All right, let's go to 365 group. I won't be creating a new one, so maybe I'll just select an existing one I have here. Person has done so many things on. I need to delete some of these things. I don't know. Oh, this one's on here. Sorry, friends. Let me just. Oh, not selecting multiple. Okay, I'll do this later. All right, let me just select one 365 group here, and let me select the one I know. But those one, I don't know who created those other ones. Okay, let me just create a new group. Okay. Let me just create a new one. I don't know. I've not used most of those groups for years, so I don't know if there is something wrong with them. This is how we create a new 365 group. We have description. We can always add our description here, but for this purpose, we don't need one. So I'll come here, add an owner, make myself an owner, and then go to next, add members, add this. Oh, this is shared mailbox. Let me add this one. All right, so we have owners now, members rather. And then I can give the group an email. I make it, they have two options here. I can make it either a public group or a private group. If I want it to be accessible to everybody, I'll make it public. If I want it to be restricted, I'll make it private. But let me leave it as public for this. So you can decide to also create a team for this group, in that Microsoft Teams will be embedded with this group. So I'll leave that checked, and then I'll go to next. So we can just check out our configuration so far, if everything is fine by us, and then we now go to create. We're still adding. All right, so this is completed. So once we are done, we can now make reference to the group we just created. This is it. Maybe there's service downtime in Exchange Admin Center. All right, so give me 1 minute, guys. Let me confirm. If there is a service downtime. From this. I don't see anything here. All right, I don't see anything here. So let me just access it directly from the admin center, from the 365 admin center. I don't know why Exchange is exchanging me this morning. Okay, so this is what the group is. All right, the one we just created now on the Exchange admin center. Okay, and under here we have the general, membership, channels, and then settings. So this gives us a broader group description, okay, for this particular 365 group. Okay, and then under the general, we have the basic info, which you have entered already, and the email address and other info. And then we see that everything we've created, they are all okay, right? Under the general. Membership, we'll see the group of members that we have here, owners, members, as well as site visitors. And then we have about membership, and but we didn't add site visitors here. So this is about membership. You can learn more reading articles, Microsoft articles, right? So yeah, we have channels. You can create a channel under this. These channels are basically going to be showing up on Microsoft Teams, right? More like Microsoft Teams channel. So we can just give this a name. Give this any name. Let's say Hobbit channel. Okay. All right. And then go to next. And then we can choose those who can access the channel. If we want standard for everyone on the team, or private, only specified team members. So those team members, those 3 people that we added on the team, if we leave it at private, they are the only ones that can have access to the channel. But if we leave it as standard, then it means everyone in my organization can have access to the channel. Okay, let me leave it at private. So we can still add channel owners. Okay, let's see. Still make myself as a channel owner. And then create. So we have aside our general, we have a channel. Let me see if I can open Microsoft Teams. Sorry, I'm taking us to different admin centers, but you know, this is how it works. There's so much integration between Exchange and other admin centers. So sometimes some setup that we have on Exchange, we can also check them out or see them show up on Teams and other admin centers too. So let's just check out the changes we just made now, the channel we just created, and if it shows up on Microsoft Teams. Okay. So while this is still loading, we have our settings here. We're still going to go back to Teams. So we have our settings here. So we can always set if we want to let people outside the organization to email this team. We can always check this. If not, leave it checked out. We can also choose to send copies of team emails and events to team members' inboxes. So if you want, you know, there are some, yes, I remember this now. There are some tickets I picked way back where customers will say users are not getting these particular emails in their inbox. You know, they want to be able to get emails that are sent to this team, you know, in their inbox, like this Microsoft 365 group in their inbox. You know, you can always come here and check the settings that we have here. If it's checked, then it means that the emails will be going to users' mailboxes. Then you can decide to also do the one of don't show team email address in Outlook. So whichever settings is good for you, that's the one you can select. All right. For this one, there is no best practice for this one. It's just based on the organization need. Okay. So here you can also see external file sharing, either anyone, new and existing guests, wherever you want to be able to share files externally. You can always make that configuration on this screen. Then Teams channel. You can see team members can add channel and edit. So you're giving them permissions on what they can do within the Teams channel. So you can always do those configurational settings on this particular pane. All right. So that's with so you can okay, you can even open it directly from here in Teams. So let's see what it looks like. What it looks like here. So that's the beauty of Microsoft 365 groups. It gives you a broader privilege to access this group, not only in Exchange Admin Center, but also in Teams. So you can see it right here, right on the left, our hobby technologies that we created, and then our general as well as our hobby channel. And this hobby channel is restricted to only, that's why you see this option here, is restricted to only members that we added to the channel. All right, not everybody in the organization will be able to see this channel. Only members of the 3 members of the hobby technologies group that are added to them, right, can see this channel or have access to it. They can only see general and have access to it, not the hobby channel. All right, so we see everything show up here. And the beautiful thing about this is if you open our SharePoint, which I don't want us to go, go so far away from Exchange today. But if you open our SharePoint, you will also see this show up, SharePoint has it as I think communication site or something like that. So if you open our SharePoint, you will see this show up. Hobby technologies, hobby channel, you see it show up on SharePoint because SharePoint hosts Teams. It's a storage unit for Teams. All right. So I don't want us to go so far. I just wanted to show us the beauty of our Microsoft 365 group. Now let's see if we can open our yes, this one. Let me see. We can see our groups here. All right, so just give this some time. Let's give it some time because we want to have that group show up on Office 365. I would like to show us some things of that, the shared calendars and all, okay, in Office 365. But we'll give you some time. Let's just go on. And then we are not through with the different groups we have here. We also have our security group. Let me access this from our Exchange Admin Center. Thank you. So we have our dynamic distribution group as well as our mail-enabled security group. Okay. So for our let me start with the security group. Let me start with this last one, mail-enabled security group. So basically, these particular groups, they just grant access to different Microsoft 365 resources, like our SharePoint sites. Okay, so what we do on this mail-enabled security group is when we add a group, we assign permissions to that particular group instead of individual. So we don't assign permissions to individual users on this group. So we assign permissions to the group itself. So we add a group and then assign permissions to that particular group. So if you want to manage your group, it's much easier to manage the group instead of managing individual users within the group. Okay, so this is more like having a group within a group. So what we're going to do here is to add a group, mail-enabled security. Okay, let's just see here what it sends messages to all members of the group and gives access to resources like OneDrive, SharePoint, and administrative roles. Okay, so you can just create a new group here. What group am I going to create now? Just call it HTech. Okay, HTech group, and then go to next. So we can assign owners. I'll still make myself an owner of this group. Okay. And then go to next, we assign members, just pick them at random. So we can have a group email address to still be HTech. Right? So we can decide to either we can decide to allow communications whereby people from outside the organizations can send email to the mail-enabled security group. Let's check that. Then the second one is approval. Require owner approval to join the group. You can decide to, before you join the group, just to put stringent measures in place. Then check out. It's good now. Everywhere good. Then we create the group. I don't know what's wrong with my. I don't know what's wrong with my admin center. Someone's not giving me issues yesterday. Someone's putting on premises. Okay, let me do this. It means I'll have to be utilizing so much of this admin center. I'm supposed to delete most of these things. Hi. I have so many security groups. All right, guys. Don't worry. I'll have to flush. I'll have to flush this my. So we can decide to assign Azure AD roles to this group. But why I don't want to create it from this particular pane is that this is not like a mail-enabled security group. I really need us to create a mail-enabled, not just a security group, right? But a mail-enabled security group. So let's still let me see if I can access. This is a cloud one. All right, so let's just work with one that we already have that is already created. I don't know why I'm unable to create one, but at least we've seen how to create one, so it's just very straightforward. Because that's one of the assignments I'll be giving us to do. Creating mail-enabled security group. So just here is general pane. Here we have our membership as well as our settings or configuration. So you can decide to configure. I don't know why all settings of all these groups are having issues, but nonetheless, you can just come here and do what you need to do. You know, edit the name, basic information, and then check members, view the members, remove a member, add a member, and even delete the mail-enabled security group if you want to. Okay. And the last one we have here is the dynamic distribution list. Dynamic distribution list is quite different from our distribution list or our distribution group that we have here. They are both distribution groups. They both carry out the same function. They are both exact in their functionality. But the difference between them is that the dynamic distribution group is automatically assigned to members based on defined rules. So there are particular setup that will be put in place that will ensure the creation of our dynamic distribution group. Let me just give an example. I am Kingsley. I am in the IT department. This is Abdullahi. Abdullahi is in sales. Let me see our names here. Then we have Jonathan. Jonathan is in pre-sales. We have Foluke. Foluke is in HR. We have Kenechiku. Kenechiku is in maybe cybersecurity, like that, right? So if I'm going to be creating a dynamic distribution list, it has to take up these different distributions. You know, it has to dynamically, from the name, dynamically assign me to a particular unit within the group. Since I'm in IT, so because my settings have IT embedded in it, it will automatically assign me to the group based on that defined parameters. But we'll be looking at one here. Let me just see if I can create one. I pray this allows us so that we can see the beauty of the dynamic distribution group. So from the explanation here, it says sends email to all members of the list. This group membership list is updated every 24 hours. Okay, based on filters and conditions you set. So let's give it HTech. Let's hope that HTech will agree to be created this time. So we can always select a group owner, but since it did not make it mandatory, I can decide to leave it out. Okay. Then we can now select members, specified type of recipient that will be members of this group. So we cannot just specify any member based on this particular setup. I cannot just say because I like Foluke or I like Abdullahi, I want to add them in dynamic distribution. It doesn't work that way. So I have to select them based on certain criteria within dynamic distribution group. That's how I select them. So this is some of the options here. So it's either you select them for all recipient types, or you can add these conditions only the following recipient types. So all recipient types, will add them irrespective of the departments they are all in, or if they have access to, if they use Exchange, or if they use SharePoint, or if they use Teams, or if they are global admins or user admins. So all recipient types will just add all of them. But if you want to select the different criteria, you can just select only users that have Exchange Online mailboxes. So it means that if you are a user within this organization and you don't have a license enabled, sorry for you, you will not be able to be added to this dynamic distribution list. All right. So since this one is very much peculiar to what we have set up already on this our tenants, we will go with users with Exchange mailboxes. I think this is very straightforward for us. All right. Then membership in this group will be determined by the rules you set below. So let us set conditions. We can set conditions based on, although I don't think I'll be setting conditions, I'll just go to next. But based on, let's say, company, we can just enter a catchphrase. It's called a catchphrase. You can just decide to enter a catchphrase in that for them to become a member, that particular catchphrase needs to be applied to their user account. But I don't want to set any condition here. Let me see if it's possible. Okay, yeah, it's possible. So I can now, okay. So send email. You can decide to send emails to all members of the list. So see, let's just go to next and finish this out. And then check out our, oh my God. Okay. So sorry, guys. I'm so sorry I'm having this particular hitches. Let me go with the fresh bill I already have here. Okay, let me go with the existing one I have here. Okay, thank God this one, the settings is showing. So let's go with the existing one we have here. I don't know why all of them are showing error. I don't know why they're erroring out. Just hope my tenant is still very good. Okay. So we have our general here, still like the basic information, email address, role assignments, and all of these, right? And then we have our members. So these members, we did not add, we only have one owner, that's me. So we're not adding members based on okay, you can see the catchphrase I used there, but we're not adding members based on different criteria here. We said all recipient types. Okay, you are using Exchange Online, no problem. You have a resource mailbox. All recipient types should be added as members of the dynamic distribution list. Then we can come to settings and then set out configuration. You want to hide this from global address list. If that's what your organization require, fine and good. Delivery management. You want to set up delivery management. You can always edit it from here. I don't know why this is not editable. Okay. Manage delegates. You can manage delegates here, manage approval, if admins, so you can do all of these things within the dynamic distribution list. Okay. And you can also do that on Azure Active Directory. You can also manage groups, especially the dynamic distribution list in Azure Active Directory. Okay. So next we are having resources. So I'm going to be stopping under recipients for our training today. We're going to continue same time next week, Saturday, to complete our exchange training. All right. I already knew that I won't be able to finish up this particular training today, except I just want to rush everything and give you so much information. But I want to really take my time to show us all of these one after the other. Okay, so that we get at least a better understanding of all of this. Sorry, I saw your hand up, but I will still come to you so that we get a better understanding of all of these one after the other. Okay, that's why I'm just basically taking my time for all of this. But I really want to apologize for my tenant's behavior today when we're trying to create all of this. All right. I saw someone's hand up, please. You can ask a question.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, please.
All right. Thank you so much for your time, for taking the time to explain everything that you have explained today. So I just have a few questions to ask. Number one is with the in-place hold. I saw when you were talking about the mailboxes on how to enable hold. I can only see litigation hold there, but I didn't see how to enable the in-place hold on the mailbox. So that's my number one question. Then number two question is on the auto expanding archive. So I saw how to enable archive. Abi? on the mailbox. Then, but I didn't see how to enable or to expand an archive when you open the mailbox. Then, should I continue with my question or should I answer them one by one first?
You can continue with them.
Okay, so number 3 is when you're talking about a distribution list. Okay, you said if a distribution is for notification, so once an email is sent into the mailbox, is sent to the group, it's been delivered to the individual mailboxes of the members in the group, right? So, and you said that it's when you delete a distribution list group, right? You can recover the group. Does it mean that when the group is deleted, both the message that has already been sent into the individual mailboxes of the members, they will no longer have access to those emails that has already been sent before, or those emails has gone with the group as it's been deleted? That was my number 3 question. Then number 4 question is, we are configuring a Teams channel in the M365 Admin Center, and I want to know if even if you are not an admin, even if you are not Teams admin, will you still have access to configure the channels in the M365 Admin Center? Because you are able to create a M365 group that has a team, so you'll be able to configure the team settings. So I thought it's only a Teams admin that will be able to do those settings in the channel. Then my last question is on the distribution. Okay. The last thing, dynamic distribution, this thing that you are creating. There is one in Entra Admin Center. Is the one in Exchange different from the one in Entra Admin Center? Because I can see that when you were creating the group, I think the configuration is kind of different from the one in the Entra Admin Center. So that's my question. But I understand that both of them, they can automatically add members to the group. But I just want to know if they are different, because the configuration was quite different. That's my question. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much, Bruno. Thank you for all of the questions. Should I address you as Bruno or Miracle?
Miracle.
Thank you for. All right. All right. Thank you very much, Miracle. Thank you for your questions. They are very, very vital. Very, very important questions. All right. So I will start with the last one you asked, the Teams creating a channel. So the only people that can create a channel in Microsoft 365 or create a Microsoft 365 team in Microsoft 365 are the global administrators, as well as the Teams administrators. Okay, they are the people that can create Teams channel, Teams group, Teams what have you, whatever within Teams that you want to create. And then those who have Exchange Online administrators, or those who are Exchange admins, can also see, they can view, but I'm not sure they can create teams, because they are only limited to Exchange Online. So if that particular, let's say they created a Teams group, if that Teams group shows up in Outlook, then they can have that privilege to see that Teams group on Outlook. Okay, but they cannot create a Teams group, because on their admin portal, the only place they have access to is Exchange Online. That's the only admin center that shows up for those that have that particular administrator role assigned to them. Okay, so if you are a Teams admin, it means that you only have the privilege to access the Teams admin center. You will not see the Exchange admin center. You will not see the SharePoint admin center. So you're only restricted to Teams. So it's only the global admin and the Teams admin that can create anything around Teams. Same thing with other admin centers. Only the global admin, who has the overall administrative rights, as well as that particular solutions admin, that can create anything regarding to that particular solution. And what's the next one you asked? You asked about, you said you didn't see in-place archive, or in-place hold rather, but you were able to see litigation hold, right, on that particular pane. So most times, in-place holds that are being applied to mailboxes they are usually applied via PowerShell. So you can always use PowerShell to apply in-place hold on mailboxes. And another thing is on the admin center, you can always create what we call an archival policy, okay, or an archive policy. An archive policy deals with having a retention tag applied to a retention policy that's then applied to that particular mailbox, okay? That one will give you the privilege to assign or apply that particular policy to either individual folders within that particular mailbox or to apply it to the entire mailbox. And you can also define the particular period of time that you want that particular policy to be applied to the mailbox. And you can also define the parameter that will be applied to the mailbox. Is it keeping that mailbox in check for a period of time? Is it deleting emails from that mailbox after a period of time? So whatever it is, that is the parameter that you want to define, you can always do it by applying a retention policy to that particular mailbox. Okay, that is the in-place hold. And how we can go about it, let me see if I can still navigate. Now we're now leaving Exchange Admin Center. So let me see if I can get to where that particular policy is so that I can show you how it is being set up. Okay, let's see. Let me open these two. I think it's in one of them so that we can check out and see how it is being set up. All right, this is the Defender Admin Center. So let's see if you can see it here. Okay, I think it should be here. It should be in the purview. Okay. Oh, the purview has really changed. Okay, so I think it should be in one of these ones. I think it's data lifecycle. And all right, so on the left pane here in data lifecycle, rather, you'll see under the exchange legacy, you'll see the MRM retention policies as well as the MRM retention tags. Okay, these are holds that can be placed on the mailbox. Okay, what you just need to do first of all is you come to the retention tag. Usually you create a tag first, or you apply an existing tag that you already have there to a retention policy. Okay, is that tag in that policy that will take effect or that will be applied to the mailbox to take effect? Now you can see a list of both custom and default tags that we have here already created. Okay, some of them are meant to delete an email after 1 month. Some are meant to archive an email that are 30 days above. Some are meant to delete an email after 5 years. Some are meant to delete an email after 6 months. So depending on what you want to apply to your mailbox, you can select either a default here or you can customize one. If there is none here that meets your need, you can customize one. Let's say we want to use this particular 1 month delete, right? We want emails after 1 month to delete so that we can be creating space. Or let me use one that has to retain. So let's say we are using 30 days move to archive, right? 30 days move to archive. So we can always apply this particular tag to this particular policy. So we can either create a policy and then apply the tag to that particular policy. Then what we do later on is we now apply that particular policy to a mailbox, right? So we can always come here and add the tag 30 days move to archive on this particular one. And then we go to next to create this particular one. When we create it, then we now apply it or assign it to a particular mailbox, any mailbox at all, and assign it or apply it to a mailbox. Okay, that's what we can do for this particular one, policies and the tags. Okay, but if we want to have like in-place hold applied to all the mailboxes in our tenants, then we have to go through the route of using PowerShell to apply in-place hold on mailboxes. But usually this is what we use to define the type of hold that we want to place on a mailbox. This particular one is not like a hold, the kind of hold you're used to, like is only holding things in that particular email and is not, no, it's defining the actions that will be taken within a specific period of time on that mailbox. So it will hold content in that mailbox for just a period of time. When it gets to the dates or time stipulated in the retention policy, let's say 30 days move to archive, for instance, it means that it will hold items in that particular mailbox for 30 days. And when it gets to the 31st day, it will automatically move it to the archive storage. So that's the difference between this hold and litigation hold. Litigation hold just holds items in that mailbox indefinitely. But this one holds and takes actions during a particular time frame as defined by the administrator. So I don't know if this answers that particular question. Then what's the next question again? Sorry, can you remind me the next one you asked?
Auto expanding archive.
All right, yes. Auto expanding archive can only be done via PowerShell. Okay, you will not be able to do that using the GUI interface. Okay, the archive normally can be enabled for that particular mailbox. Say, for instance, I have 100 gigabytes mailbox storage size. Automatically, it gives me 100 gigabytes archive storage, which is disabled by default. So I can decide to enable it if I want it to come into play. But if the archive storage is filled up, then the only thing I can do is to auto expand it via email. So via PowerShell rather. So the PowerShell is just to activate it, and then it automatically expands to about 1.5 terabytes. Yeah, so it's a PowerShell. So all you just need to just come to PowerShell, and then you just type in I think is it new auto expanding archive or something. Then you enter the email address. Sorry, I'm not so I'm not so good with PowerShell, but let's search it out together. So auto expand a mailbox PowerShell. Okay. So we'll see. All right. So okay, if you want to do it for the entire organization, for every mailbox, you have to do the set organization config - auto expanding archive to enable it. All right, but if you want to do it for a mailbox, you do enable mailbox - identity, which is your email address, then - auto expanding archive. So that's what you use to expand your archive storage. So I think that answers that. So any other one that I missed out?
Yeah, I was asking if the distribution, dynamic distribution group in Exchange is different from the one in Entra.
In Entra, okay, no, it is not different. The dynamic distribution group, yeah, earlier I made mention of something that there is a seamless integration of Exchange Admin Center with other admin centers, including the Entra admin, the Identity Admin Center. Okay, so there's always that seamless integration between all of them. In that, if I create a dynamic distribution group in Exchange Admin Center, for instance, if I go to the Identity Admin Center or the Entra Admin Center, I would always see it show up there. Okay, so anything I create on Microsoft 365 will always show up in Entra Admin Center, as well as if I create a dynamic distribution group on the Entra Admin Center, I would also see it show up in both Microsoft 365 Admin Center as well as the Exchange Admin Center. So it's not different. So the user interface, and that thing is the user interface rather might be different. The configuration might look different, but it's still aimed at achieving the same purpose. Okay. So is there any other question?
I understand now. Thank you very much. I think that was all.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Do we have any other question from anyone? Aisha Musa, are you with us? Do you have a question? Please, if you are new to Office 365 and all of these things sounds like jargons, please signify you. Don't don't suffer in silence. Please signify you so that we can know that we are not just speaking gibberish and it doesn't sound challenging to you. But I'm trying to speak. I'm trying to leave as much technical terms as possible so that we can really understand everything. All right, so I'll write on. I'll continue. I think we don't have much questions. All right, so if you have, please just ensure to feel free to ask. Let me leave this like this. So I'll see when someone raises their hands. So we're going to go into the next one. We are through with. Okay, let me go back to the Exchange Admin Center. So we are through with yes. So we are through with the groups. We're going to go into resources. Aha, I see a hand up. Please ask a question, please. That's Fuluke.
Yes, the class has been so interesting. But anyways, I have exam in the next 2 weeks, and I am a bit challenged when it comes to reading. I prefer videos to reading. So please, can you please help with where I can get videos on some of these things so that it'll be easier for me to understand and then write the exam well?
Oh, okay. May I ask what exam you're preparing for?
MS 900, that's 365.
Oh, MS 900. Oh, perfect. Okay. All right, no problems. All right, for your exams next week, I would advise you can just go on YouTube. Okay. You can just go. You can even go on YouTube and just. Sorry, someone saying anything?
No, don't worry, you can go on. And when you finish, there's
right.
a resource. There's a resource. This is just for the MS 900 for basic. So there's a resource on YouTube that you get that from. So I would likely drop the link in the group as well. It's like a dump. So you make use of the resource together with what you've learned. You'll be able to bash the exam. It's so easy to pass. Yeah, just 700 pass mark. So I think it's going to be helpful.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Babs. All right, do we have any other question? Any other person writing exams and you need clarity on something?
Yeah, for look here, before like sorry, I have, if it's not small, maybe she said she doesn't like to read, but I have question and answer on MS 900 that will also help her to pass the exam. When I was preparing, it's still the same thing with what is on the YouTube video. So just like you have them on this thing, so you read it and you see the answer below it. So I can forward it to her if you chat me up on WhatsApp. So I'll send her the PDF of the question and answer of MS 900.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for that.
So in addition, for Luca, I would advise you try to do the sandbox on Microsoft. So it's going to give you hint on where most of the questions is going to be coming from. It's going to give you hint on how well you will do. So there's a particular sandbox for each exam you're writing on Microsoft, your Microsoft Learn Dash. You see it. So try to practice it as often as you can before the exam. It helps a lot as well. There's a sandbox for that. Microsoft
All right, thank you.
intentionally prepared it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Yeah, I still see another Esther.
Okay, good morning, everyone. So I'm actually new to this. I'm happy to be here. So I would really like to learn more. Though I didn't join the class on time, so I'm not really following what you are saying, and I don't really know much about what you're talking about. But I'm really interested. So please, if there are links, handouts or videos that I can watch to use to catch up, I really appreciate. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Esther. So, Esther, I would like to ask a question. Are you new to Microsoft 365 generally?
Yes, please.
Okay, what career path are you currently on?
Okay, actually, I studied accounting, but right now I'm working on a contract administrator. I'm a contract administrator for now.
All right, so it means that you get to use, maybe Outlook, you get to use Microsoft Teams, and maybe SharePoint. Hello, Esther, that's for you.
Sorry, I didn't really unmute my mic. I said yes.
All right. Okay. All right. No problems about that. No problems about that. So, like I was asking earlier, that if you're very new to this, that you should try to signify so that we can know how to follow this on. But as Esther, I would say this to you, okay? Normally you're supposed to get to understand the user's perspective before the administrator's perspective. But what we are actually teaching today, or what we've been carrying on along so far, has been from the administrator's perspective, in that you are an administrator of an organization, and then you're trying to manage all of these resources, right, for the organization rather. But nonetheless, we'll see what we can do with usage. I think it's the usage part that will help you to better understand like how to use most of these applications, especially, let's say for instance, Microsoft Teams, how to like create a meeting, share meeting invites, how to create a team, create channels, update channels, integrate other applications to it and all that. So okay, let's see how far it goes though. We can share videos with you that can help you come up to speed. All right, so that you don't so that you don't see these our classes as what are these people talking about? What is this one? But everything I'm just carrying us through on this page is just the admin center, for sending and receiving emails, basically. So what you do with your Outlook by sending emails and receiving emails, there is a back end to it, like a back end where you can configure some of these things that you see on Outlook. Do you understand? So it's the back end that we are talking about today. The applicability of this back end to what you currently do. If you find yourself in that particular field, how do you resolve customers' issues? How do you even resolve your own organization issues if they have issues with things like this? So for instance, let me just give you an example. I'm sending an email to you, Esther, and then you don't get that email. If you're only having the Outlook interface, you might have little or nothing to do to correct that particular issue. Maybe what you can just do is to wait till maybe something corrects itself. But if you're an administrator, which is what we are training about, you can decide to go to the administrator center and then check out for what could be the issue that is preventing my email from getting delivered to you. Do you understand? So that's what we are training about. We're not training entirely about how to use these applications. We are just showing you beyond just using these applications, there is much more that you can do. If the email is lagging it's just like now in financial institution, like the bank now, I can transfer money to you, for instance, and they've debited me, but they've not credited you. That means the money is hanging somewhere. So me now, I'm the end user, you are the end user. I can be wondering like, what's going on? Let me call the bank. Let me ask questions. What can be done? They should reverse my money or they should, credit your account and all that. But the bankers or the IT personnel in the bank, they are the ones that have access to the back end. So it is them that can now go into their administrator platform on their back end to look and say, okay, I can see the money. It is currently here. It has not gotten delivered here. Hold on for 24 hours. Or don't worry, I will initiate a reversal. I will do this, I will do that. So that is actually the point that we're coming from. It's not difficult. It's very straightforward. It just tell you that, hey, if you have challenges with using this application, you can always come here. As long as you have the required permission, you can always come to this platform and then correct the errors that you're having using that particular application. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yes.
So I know I'm not expecting you to grab everything in one sitting. That's why we'll have this video recording available, and then we'll have other resources. I will share with you Microsoft Learn resources too that you can also read up on, so that you'll come up to speed with what Microsoft 365 generally is all about. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Any other question? All right, so I'll just go on if we don't have further questions. Okay, but just keep your question in mind. In case you have questions, you can always ask questions. Okay, so the next one we're going to be looking into is our resources. Now, have you ever created a meeting in Microsoft Outlook before? And then when you're trying to create a meeting, you see a particular place that asks you to include a room in that particular meeting. And or you're wondering, what is that room? What am I including here? What is that room supposed to help me achieve? Can't I just create a meeting and just share the link with everybody to just join the meeting? So most of these things where we have resources like our conference rooms and then equipment rooms or conference equipment, they are just similar to resources like buildings, different apartments in the buildings, like things like our cars, our equipment, our desktop machine or devices, for instance. And all of these things, maybe media equipment, microphones, touchlights, even anything that has to do with equipment, our regular equipment that we know, and then regular rooms that we know, right? So these rooms and equipment are mailboxes that we can create on Exchange Admin Center. All right. So we can create these and add them to our meeting invites, or when we set up trainings on our meeting invites, we can always add the room or equipment on this particular invite. Okay, so I'll be showing us here, first of all, the distinction between the two, and then why we need to add the two to our meeting invite as resources, and then how we get to add them on our Microsoft Outlook. Okay, so that we can always understand what this is about. All right, so let's look at okay, right here we can see add a room resource, add an equipment resource. Oh, I don't have a room resource. Oh, okay. So I will create a room resource, I'll create an equipment resource, and then we'll go over to Outlook and try to schedule a meeting and then see the purpose of having this room resource and having this equipment resource in Office 365. Okay. So just take this now. Let me bring this down from the cloud perspective that I'm speaking from. If I want to have a meeting with each and every one of us on this particular training platform now, a physical meeting, for instance, I will tell us there will be a title of that meeting. Let's say the meeting is on promotion. Let's say promotion, that's the title of our meeting. I want to schedule a meeting on promotion, and then I will tell you guys, we'll be having a meeting on the 5th of December 2025 titled promotion, and I want everybody on this particular platform. Let me go to our Teams now. I want everybody now present on this particular platform to be a part of that promotion meeting, right? And then I'll tell you that this meeting will be happening on the second floor, maybe the HR's office, or the conference room. It will be happening on the second floor's conference room, table 5. We will make sure that we are having like 100 desktops in that particular meeting room. Okay, 100 desktops, a projector, a monitor, and then we need breakfast and lunch. So we've already gathered together or put up together a holistic meeting being scheduled for each and every one of us on this platform. That is similar to what we have on Microsoft Outlook. When we schedule a meeting and we add a room resource to that meeting, that room resource defines the location for that meeting. It defines the particular, let's say the particular floor, the exact floor we'll be having that meeting, or the exact room or the exact office that meeting will be happening in. And if it's equipment, that we have equipment resources, it also defines if we're going to be using microphones for that meeting, if we're going to be using monitors for that meeting, all of these things. So it just puts them together to ensure that the meeting is holistic. It's having so many standards put together, you understand, that will make that meeting worthwhile. So it's not like we're just having a meeting and then that's it. No, we have to check. Can we have this meeting on the 7th floor? Maybe the 5th Avenue. I'm just using a rough location now. 5th Avenue, room 501. Can we have this meeting there? If yes, we'll go ahead and select that room. And that will now be the location for where we'll be having this particular meeting. So it's more like a physical location, all right? It's more like a physical location that tells you the exact place that a meeting will be scheduled for. I don't know if that makes sense. That's what that's what room resource helps us to achieve. Okay. So for equipment mailboxes is like the contrast of room mailboxes. Equipment mailboxes speaks about the different equipments that will be used in that meeting, or different equipment that are needed for that physical meeting. Equipment, like I mentioned earlier, like a projector, a microphone, different computers, and all that will make sure that the meeting is worthwhile. I can project my voice. You can hear me at the back. I can actually project the screen, and then everybody will see what I am talking about. So that is what the room and equipment mailboxes help us to achieve. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Sorry, I have to just check if there are new messages for me. All right. So now let's go straight to the admin page. Why is this? So this is a room mailbox. I would like to just create one. Testing this. All right. So let's see. I have a lot of tests, so I just want to make sure that Create the same. All right, so this is the room mailbox. Now in the room mailbox, we can set up the properties for our room mailbox. Okay, you can decide to add capacity, location. Where's the location? You can decide to add phone number, department, company, address book policy, streets. These are the different physical locations that we can add, and even country and region. But we want to add all of these things, but you can always add them if need be. Okay, then we go to next, and then we see booking delegate settings. So this particular booking delegate settings, we can always modify it based on how we want it to be, before scheduling the meeting. Do we want someone to approve meeting or booking delegates? Do we want a delegate to approve our meeting requests, or we want anyone to just automatically join in? There's an option for you to automatically join into the meeting without someone approving or declining, or do you want there to be an approval or declining for the meeting? So all of these things, you can set it here. Do you want to allow repeated meetings, or you just want it to be a one-off meeting? You can on toggle this. Then you see automatically decline meetings outside of booking limits below. So these are the default booking windows: 180 days, maximum duration 24 hours. So if you are doing a meeting or scheduling a meeting that is 26 hours, it will automatically decline it. You won't be able to create one. As well as if you are scheduling a meeting outside of 180 days window, it will get declined, even if it's a recurring meeting. And then you can always, see booking delegates, automatically accept or decline meeting requests. So what do you want the booking delegates to do? These specify users whom you want to accept or decline meetings manually. So if you specify this, it means you come down and select their names one by one. But this is what we want, and then we can just go to next, and then check it out. Good now? Yes. Then we go to. So we are creating this one. So after creating this one, we'll go to Outlook and then check out. Try to schedule a meeting on Outlook and then see what we get. Okay. I don't know why all of these things are taking much time to schedule. Okay, while this is still going on, let me go to Outlook. All right. So for instance, I want to schedule a meeting on my Outlook. All I just need to do is, this is our normal Outlook interface. Esther, I think that's Esther, right? Oh, let me see. Sorry. All right, Esther. So, yeah. All right. So, sorry, you don't need to respond. I just called your attention. So this is basically maybe what you use in your organization, right? Based on your job role. And then they can ask you or say, Esther, schedule a meeting, ensure to add a room, physical location to it, and make sure that there are projectors and there are these available on that particular meeting invite, and ensure that you add so and so persons from different departments. They can just give you a task on what they want you to do. So all you just need to do is just come down to the Outlook interface. Like I said, Outlook is beyond just sending and receiving emails. There's a whole lot you can do on Outlook. So come down to Outlook, and then all you need to go to is go to your calendar. So this is where you book different itineraries based on what you're asked to do. So you can just come, let's say today is 31st, right? Let's say let's book on 31st. So when you click on it, either you click on the dates, or you come down to new events. You see on this top pin here, you can see new event option. So you can just click on events to create an event, right? Now on this page, I'll just quickly explain this scheduling assistance for us and event, because we might not entirely come back to this place. So scheduling assistance is just to show the free busy information of your users in your organization, right? So you need to see your different users if they are busy or if they are free at particular time intervals. So you can see the different time intervals. So you have to digress a bit, but this is very important for us to know. 5 p.m., 9 a.m., 10, 11. So our normal working hours throughout the day, you would see if someone is free, available at a particular time, or if they are busy at a particular time. So you can add required attendees, for instance. Let me say I add Kabiru here. It shows me, let me say I add Kabiru here. It shows me that on this time, 9 a.m., Kabiru is available. So I can really add Kabiru to a meeting, for instance, at 9 a.m. I can just check out 11 a.m. Check out different times, and you see if this person is available or if person is busy. When it means busy, it means that the person might have other meetings that are scheduled at that exact time. So that's what busy is all about. But if the person is free or available, it means that this person does not have any other meetings scheduled at that particular time. Okay, so that's what the scheduling assistant helps us to check or achieve. So let's go back to event. So you want to create an event, for instance. You come down here, like I said that last time for fiscal meeting, we have promotion. That's the title of our event, right? Teams meeting. You can decide to toggle this on. Okay, then invite attendees. So we can decide to invite everybody, both within our organization and outside. You know, we can do add external users too on our Teams meeting. All right, then schedule the time, the date. If you want it to be a recurring meeting, you can click here. If you want it to be an all-day event, you can also click here. All right, but we don't want all day. We just want a normal meeting, simplified meeting. Then right down here, you will see a place that shows add a room or location. So that room resource that we created is what we can add on this particular place. The room or location just speaks more about our location, like where is this particular meeting going to be holding. So we can decide to select, so we can decide to come down here and browse all the rooms that we have. So if we, for instance, have different rooms already in this particular, but we don't have any conference room so far. But if we have any room, we can now come down here and add that room. Click on the room to select it. Okay. So if this is supposed to be an in-person event, we can always toggle it on to be in-person event. So it means that we're going to be having this in a physical location, in person. But if it's going to be a virtual event, we toggle this off, and then we're going to make this like a virtual event. Okay. So our room finder is not seeing any room. Wow. Okay. Before our next meeting, I would do this. I'm supposed to use a PowerShell to actually get these rooms available, room list available. Okay, so I will do this before our next meeting. Sorry, let me just take note of it so that I won't forget. Here's my notepad. Okay. Sorry. All right, so because normally that's we're supposed to have like a room list to select from, and since we just created one now, normally we just give it some time, right, to provision. But if it doesn't provision, then I will just ensure that I create more rooms and then have a room list show up on our room finder, so that it'll be very easy for us to select a particular room and add them to, or add it to our physical meeting or our virtual meeting from this particular pane. Okay. So that's just how we create a meeting, adding our room resource on this particular meeting. Discard. Okay. So back to base. All right. So the next one is contacts. So we can always add different contacts, okay, in our Microsoft 365 in our Exchange Admin Center. Now, what are contacts? What are contacts? Contacts are just list of names, email address, phone numbers, just like what we have on our mobile devices. You want to save someone's number, it appears as a contact. You have them, you have their name, their phone number, their email address, where they work, their company, their house address, all of these things. All right. Sorry, I see a hand up. Yes, Bruno, Miracle. You can ask a question.
Yeah, I have a question regarding the resource room. You created you added a resource to that resource, right? And when you created a meeting and pushed.
Sorry, I can't hear you anymore. Hi, Miracle. If you're still speaking, I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, please.
I don't know. Oh, okay. Sorry about that. I said, okay, after you created a resource room, you were trying to create a meeting to add in person, which you are going to add the location of the room, right? So how do you get approval to use the room? Like you want to use it. So how do you know if the room is not already booked, and how do you request approval to use that particular location before you put it into your meeting that you want to use that location?
All right, very good question. So everything boils down to how the room was created initially. So let me just go back to this particular place, right? And then go back to our resources. And then let's check the room I just created. Let's check the different components in this particular room. I think it's on manage booking delegate settings. All right. So now in this particular booking delegate settings, you can see the option that I selected is accept or decline booking request automatically. So this one does not need approval from anyone before it is accepted or declined, right? So this one accept automatically. But if I go down to the option of selecting a delegate or different delegates who can accept or decline meeting request, then it means that I have to come down here and select somebody, maybe a user, right? So this user will now be in charge of accepting or declining booking requests, okay, based on the configuration that we have here. And then we also have here, okay, no, not this one. I think it's not this also. Press this. So I think that is the first one. If you have this set to selecting the delegates, right, who can accept or declining, then there will be somebody that will be in charge of. So it should no longer be automatically, to be someone accepting and declining on behalf of. But if you have this selected to automatically accept or decline booking requests, it means that if I send you a meeting invite now, it's gonna automatically accept. It's gonna be automatically accepted, right, or automatically declined. So coming down here, there's one other thing I'm looking for that I'm not seeing. Okay, let me just try to create a new one. I think I saw it when I was creating a new one. So let's go here to adding a resource. And then coming down here. Next. Aha. So right here, this is where we set, although in that first one I created, I didn't set all of these things. Normally, you can always add capacity for your room resource. You can always add a location for your room resource. You can always add your phone number. You can add department, all of these information. You can always decide to add them. If there's an address book policy you want to also add, you can always add the address book policy, street number, and everything. You can always add all of these information if it's applicable to your room. Okay. When you add all of these things, when you see your room on Outlook, you will see all this information show up on that right pane that we didn't see this one showing up, but you will see all of this information showing up. Then when you come down here to the booking options, yeah, this is what I was looking for. So on these booking options, you will see where you can choose when and how this resource should be scheduled. So if if that particular room is free or is busy, you can see it from the scheduling assistant on Outlook. Let me go back to Outlook again. So here we have our scheduling assistant. Let's say we want to schedule an event, right? I can always come down here immediately to our scheduling assistant. And do you see add required attendees? Yes. I can come down to the required attendees and then say, okay, let me look for the room I created. Okay, test. Oh, so this is the only one showing. So it's not showing up yet. The room we created is not showing up yet, but normally it's supposed to show up on this pane. So when you click, let me just select any other and assume it's just a room resource, just for the benefit of showing you this. Let me just select this one. So when I select normally, the room resource will show up down here. Okay. And then when I come down to click on the different time that I have here, it's supposed to show me if this room is available on that particular time selected or not. If it's not available, I will always see here that this is not available or is busy at that particular time. Then if it's available, I always see that it is available at that particular time. So that's how I can really get to know if a room is full or if a room is available, or if there is still space within that room. Let me still check here and see if it shows up here. It's not showing up yet. So we also have to give it time to propagate. You know, sometimes when you create something new like this, especially for room resources, you have to give it some time to propagate within Outlook. So when it shows up, you can always see that, oh, this room is free. Oh, this room is busy at this time. Okay, so I can use the room at this particular time, or I can't use the room at this particular time. I don't know if that answers the question.
Yes, that's okay. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. All right, so we'll just give that. I will still be monitoring our room resource to see if it shows up. But if it doesn't show up, I will enforce it to show up for our next meeting. Okay. So contacts, like I was explaining on contacts, just our regular. So you can see that everything within Microsoft 365 is applicable to what we use every day, but we don't really know that, oh, this contact in Microsoft 365 is very similar to the contacts I have on my phone, or this group I have on Microsoft 365 is very similar to me sending emails to a group of people on my phone or on my SMS. I don't want to send to one particular person or one at a time. I can decide to group them into a group of people and send to that group at once, and everybody's seeing it. So you can see that these are our day-to-day functionalities. These are things where we do every day. But because we don't know that Microsoft 365 took a cue from our day-to-day functionality or activities to provide their own interface, we might think that this thing is very difficult, or you don't understand what we are doing here. But it's still the same thing that we do every day that Microsoft 365 is showing to us. The same thing. So we have under contacts, we have two types of contacts. We have a mail contact and we have our mail user. All right, so we have our mail contacts and we have our mail user. So our mail contact basically speaks about an external address, an external user. So you can have an external user provisioned in your organization or provisioned under the contact section in your tenants. Okay. So basically, for the mail contacts, you cannot log in with the credentials of your mail contact. So if you have a mail contact here, let me just open it and show us what it looks like. If I create this now, add my name, initial, let's say I am somebody outside this tenant now. I can just put a display name, put an alias, and then I'll put my external email address. Let's say my Yahoo Mail, my Gmail, my Outlook.com, or even if it's an organization email address, but external to this tenant, I'll enter it here and then I'll click on next to configure it. Let's just see one that we have here. This is a mail contact. So this is a mail contact, an example of what we have here. We have Enabe Gmo, and then we have his SMTP, external SMTP address, and then we have alias. We have everything set up. We're not hiding him from Gal. And then this is personal information. We didn't put any personal information. Normally we have the work title, everything, then fix everything here and all that stuff. So there are varying limitations to what we can do with our mail contacts. We can't use him to sign in to these tenants. It's not going to accept those credentials. And we know that it's going to have an external email address, right? And then we cannot access different file servers in Active Directory with the external contacts. So we cannot use it on Active Directory. We cannot use it to access our security groups. We cannot sign in with the mail contacts. Unlike the mail user also has an external email address. But the difference between the mail user and the mail contacts is that the mail user can be used in Active Directory security group, while the mail contacts cannot. And then the mail user can access shared mailboxes and calendars, right? So you can always give this mail user permission to a shared mailbox, but you cannot give a mail contact permission to a shared mailbox. Okay, let's try to create a mail user so that we can see. So mail user, you define your name, display name. You can decide to enter your external email address or not for mail user. But for mail contact, you must define your external email address. You enter your alias, user ID at the domain of thisorganization.com. So for mail user, you see that a mail user has credentials for these tenants, but the mail contact must be an external email address. So a mail user have access to different resources within these tenants that a mail contact does not have access to. So you can add a mail user to a group. You can have a mail user access different shared resources, like the shared calendars, shared mailboxes, and all that. We can really give them permission to a shared mailbox or not. Okay, so that's like the major difference between a mail user and a mail contact. One has external address that's compulsory. The other one has external address that's permissible, optional. Okay, but the one that's compulsory for the mail user is that it must use the domain within that particular organization. It must use a domain within this particular organization. So all of these is also basically to collaborate with resources within this organization. So the mail user and the mail contact, the aim of them is also to collaborate with resources within the organization. I know many of us have heard of guest users. So for instance, you create a guest user or you want to invite a guest user, that's someone outside the organization, to access resources within your organization, within your tenants. You can always send that guest user an invite. Just like now, as Miracle is now, I want to invite Miracle to my house. Normally, Miracle does not have access to my house, or she doesn't have access to use my cup, use my plate, watch my TV, and all of these things. I will have, if I want Miracle to only come to my house, for instance, just to come to and stay in my parlor, but not having access to my rooms, kitchen, and all that, I can always invite Miracle, right? I can always send Miracle an invite. And if Miracle accepts that invite, Miracle will appear in my house, not like physical, not like spiritual appearance now, but she will not be able to come to my house. That is similar to how it works here with guest users. Okay. So for this tenant now, we are all guest users. So if I want to invite Miracle to this particular tenant, all I need to do is to send Miracle an invite, okay, to this my tenant and say, okay, Miracle, I'm inviting you to come and join our meetings in this particular tenant. And I also want to add you to a distribution group so that you can be getting updates as to what is happening in my organization. Miracle say, okay, yes, I accept. Once Miracle accepts, and then she shows up in my tenant, where do you think Miracle will show up in? Miracle will show up as a mail user in my tenant. So her account, now you can see this one here as a guest mail user. So this one was invited. This particular account was invited to my organization, right? Kabiru Oponubi was invited to my organization as a guest user. So when he accepted this invite, it automatically created this external email address for him, which is what he's going to use to access resources within my organization. And he's not going to show up in our global address list. He's hidden from our global address list because he's only an external user. We don't want him to show up in GAL at all. He's only an external user. Let him remain as an external user, as a guest user, right? Sorry, there's a difference between external user and guest users in Teams. So let me use guest user. So we don't want him to show up in GAL at all. Just let him remain as a guest user. Access what we want it to access, and that is all there is to it. Okay, so that's all with contacts, mail contact and mail user in Exchange Online. Sorry, while I was speaking, I saw a hand up. You can ask your question, please.
It's me. I was confused about the mail user and the mail contacts. So mail user is the external person that is invited into the organization, right?
Yes.
Okay, why the contact?
Sorry, I can't hear you again. No.
Can you hear me now? Sorry.
Yes, I think your network. Okay, I can hear you now.
Yeah, I said I understand the mail contact. It says the external user that is being invited into the organization, but the contact user, right? Contact. So what is that one for? What is that one able to access within the organization? The contact user, what is the person able to access within the organization or able to do?
Oh, okay. The email contacts have limitations to what he or she can access. So what they can access basically is just emails. They can only see maybe some certain emails that you want them to see. You can also add them to distribution group so that they can get information email, just informational emails about certain product or certain things you want them to have access to. So they are very limited on what they can see as mail contacts. They don't have a mailbox in your organization because they are external. They are only using their external credentials. So there is no mailbox. They're not taking up space in your organization, right? Unlike mail users they can have resources in your local Active Directory if you have one. If it's cloud only, then they have more access to meetings. They have more access to seeing resources within your organization, and you might not they are external users, but they might not necessarily enter in their external email address. Why? Because you can always give them a user. You can create a user for them, like create an email address for them with your own domain. But nonetheless, they will still show up as external users or as guest users. But they have an email having your domain in it. So it will give them access to your resources. They can engage in Teams meetings. They can engage in email sending and receiving because they have a mailbox and all. But that's just the difference between the two. So everything you do within your company, the OneDrive storage, they have access to OneDrive. They can have a OneDrive storage. Mail contacts will not, right? So I don't know if that's clear, Bruno.
Yes. Still confused.
Right.
Maybe with time I to understand better.
Yeah, okay. Okay, let's go back there because this way we are ending our class for today. So let me just go back there, okay, and show us an example. I will look to create one. Let me just create one. Let me start with mail contacts. Okay, so this is our mail contacts. Normally, let me do Bruno Miracle. Let's leave initials. Let's use the same Bruno Miracle. All right. And then we can have alias as be me. And then this would definitely be your external email address. So I'll just use a make-believe external email address. brunomi@yahoo.com. So everything that you're going to be getting from my tenants will come into this mailbox. You don't have access to my tenants. When I say tenant, I mean my organization, right? This particular tenant that we're looking at is my organization. So as you are now, you are like I don't want to use tenants. You are like this kind of visitors we used to have back then, growing up. When you have visitors that you don't really want to see them like that, when you eventually serve them, you can serve them even with plastic plates. And then maybe give them just pure water sachet or bottled water. You know that those ones are they're not really like very important visitors. Those visitors that you use very good plates to serve, you give them a ban soup, you give them nice drink, you bring your wine and serve them. You know that those ones are very, very legitimate guests, right? So this particular contact are like those guests that you don't even feel like seeing them, but because maybe they will ask you for money. But because, well, there's nothing you can do. Make I just see them now. You invite them inside, they stay, you just serve them something because you just feel like you just don't want to serve them, but make you not go out and say serve them. But so these are examples of who mail contacts are. You don't want these ones to have access to anything in your resources, anything in your organization. They should not have access to your AD environment. They should not have access to anything within your organization. You just want to create them there so that maybe occasionally, where need be, you can send them information, maybe regarding some certain things, some things you want to do. And that information you're sending to them, they are only getting it on their external email address, right? That's why the external email address is here. You must enter an external email address. And then when you finish creating them, you can always stipulate, maybe put organization workflow if there is a need for it, add organization information, which will not add. All right. So that's that one for mail contacts. Limited functionality, limited resource viewing, limited in everything. But mail users are much better. Why are mail users better? Let's create a mail user so that we can see it. Mail users gives you access to more resources. So if I have my name here as Miracle, and then I put my display name as Be Me, and then my alias as Be Miracle, okay, Miracle, and then I put this as Be Me. You can see that this one gives you access to use my organization's domain. So everything you'll be getting, if I send you an information, you're getting it in my organization's domain because it has given you a resource created in my organization. You're not getting it in your external. You can always add an external email. You can see, but it's not important. It's negligible. But the one that is not negligible is you must add a user ID and domain in my company. So one of them gives you access to resources in my company and the other one does not. That's the difference. Mail user gives you access to resources in my organization. Mail contact does not give you access to resources in my organization. You see the difference?
Yes, it's clearer now.
All right.
Thank
All right, you're
you.
welcome. You're welcome. So do we have any further questions? This is the part 1 of our training today. So mail flow is like 50% of exchange online, and that's what we're going to be looking at from next training. Mail flow. This is 50% of exchange online, right? So we're going to be looking at this from next Saturday. And then, of course, and the rest of them. I pray we are able to finish mail flow next week so that we can look at other ones, migration and MDM and other ones next week. So do we have questions? If you have questions, please feel free to ask. If you have questions, we'll call it a day. And I'll tell us to enjoy the rest of our weekend.
Thank you so much, and you too. Enjoy your weekend.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. All right, guys. Thank you very much for your time. Let me stop the recording. Thank you very much for your time. Have a very, very nice weekend. All right.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
All right. Have a nice weekend too. Thank you.
Yeah, you too, Obi.